Hello again. Welcome to the Week 12 and season finale edition of Prep Football Tonight, sponsored by National Scouting Report. I am Brandon Reed. Thanks for watching all season long. We close out the season tonight with another game you told us you wanted to see in our Viewers' Choice poll. It blew up again, basically. Our Rivercrest and Osceola viewers dominated the poll, much like what the Truman folks did last week. So we are back in Mississippi County for the final week of Prep Football Live for an important 3A3 game between the Colts and the Seminoles. Rivercrest is looking to lock up the number one seed in the conference and host a first-round playoff game, while Osceola is looking to play spoiler and send their seniors out in style on senior night. We'll break down this matchup, just a little bit further in a few minutes. So Larry Perrin is here in studio making his return to Prep Football Tonight. We'll talk about our game tonight and playoff scenarios throughout the region. Larry also has a special announcement from NSR, so stay tuned for that. Before we bring Larry in, let's wrap up the action from last week. Truman hosted Cave City in our second Viewer's Choice Game of the Year. Big thanks to Coach Waymeyer at Truman for welcoming us, and a big thanks to Ronnie Dye and the good folks at Truman for feeding the Tubetown staff once again. So when that 2017 football schedule comes out and you see Tubetown scheduled to be at about 5 Truman games next year, that is why. Barbecue, hot dogs, homemade chili. The Tubetown staff had already won long before kickoff. So thank you again, guys. As for the game, Cave City was looking to keep their slim playoff hopes alive. Truman was looking to lock up their playoff seed and move up in the ranks and possibly host a playoff game for the first time in a long time. Let's check out those highlights in the 2-minute drill.
Under center, hands it off to Gartman to the left. Gartman, he's at the 35-30, and you can put 6 points up on the board for the Truman Wildcats. Just like that, two situation. White is lined up to the right, handed off up the middle. Give him about a year to fall down there. Back in the backfield, goes in motion out to the flats. They toss it out to him at the 10-yard line. He's going to work his way down to the 5. Still on his feet. He's into the end zone for a touchdown. Alex Walker. Receiver set here for Patterson. 4 down linemen coming for Truman. Patterson has time, throws it into the end zone. Caught at the goal line for a touchdown.
85 yards now.
Run up the middle. Gartman at the 50, still on his feet. He's at the 45. 3 men left to beat as the race is down to the 25, 20, 15, 10, 5. Cade Gartman, touchdown Wild. Gartman is the back in the backfield. Woods is going to keep it himself, and he's across the goal line. Touchdown Wildcats. Just Woodruff in the backfield. Gartman gets the handoff. He's across the 5, and he's into the end zone for another touchdown. And the man in motion. Patterson hands it off to Jones. Jones up the middle, untouched. First and 10, Woods under center, hands it off to Gartman. Gartman running with his left, and they got him by his face mask. Down by his jersey, he's still on his feet. He reverses his direction, and folks, he might be gone. He's at the 40, the 35, 30. Chased down from behind.
The theme of Cade Gartman taking over games continued as the junior had 17 carries for 230 yards and 3 touchdowns. Seniors Garrett Woods and Hunter Woodruff also got in the end zone for the Wildcats. Now, for Cave City, their quarterback Joseph Patterson looked pretty good, slipping his 6'8" frame in and out of traffic and had good pocket presence, also threw some good balls, threw touchdown strikes to Alex Walker and Haston Bullard. Kurt Jones also got in the action and rushed for a TD as well for the Cavemen. We almost went into halftime tied up at 14, but as you saw in those highlights, Cade Gartman broke off another huge run to end the half. That 21-14 score would hold until the fourth quarter when Truman scored touchdowns on back-to-back possessions to put the game away and just kind of salted it away there in that fourth quarter. So your final score ended up being Truman 36, Cave City 22. Now, Truman knocks Cave City out of the playoff contention for the second straight year. We'll break down this conference further in just a moment. But first, let's take a look at some area scores from last week on our way to a quick break. And when we come back, Larry Perrin of National Scouting Report will be here to help us sort through these conference standings and playoff picture. and he will also make a big announcement that will affect National Scouting Report and Prep Football Tonight. So do not go anywhere. All of that on the other side of the break. You're watching Prep Football Tonight. Welcome back to Prep Football Tonight, and speaking of back, look who's back. The man himself, Larry Perrin from National Scouting Report. And I thought you said football season was kind of your downtime, or if not, maybe not so busy period. That hadn't been true because you've been all over the country.
You know, I wear so many hats with National Scouting Report. It's just I have to go where they send me. And, of course, we've been traveling quite a bit. We've been evaluating film on athletes all across the country. We've been working at our home office extensively in Birmingham. So just a lot going on with the company, a lot of good things happening, some changes coming for us. So just a busy time of year.
So speaking of changes within National Scouting Report, you have a special announcement, big announcement, that really affects the company, but also us here locally as well. We'll get to that at the end and let you tell everybody at home what that is. So, but first, let's dive into some high school football because that's what we do here. Big game last week. I'm sorry you weren't able to be at that one because we got food, man.
Well, anytime that I miss food, I'm going to send a note to those who provided food to remind them that I was not there. But, I got to go watch Blyville Paragould, watched a good game. Paragould hung in there pretty good. Blyville's just too strong in the end, but I was really impressed with the Paragould team. It's the first time I've seen them in person this year. They're going to turn the corner up there soon. So Blyville just did what Blyville does. They grounded out. But, the first play out of the box, so for Blyville was a 80-yard slant route for a touchdown. So that kind of caught Paragould off guard. But that's what I did last Friday night after driving back in from Birmingham.
Yep. So many miles you put on the truck in the last couple of months, really.
Yeah, I had to buy a new set of tires.
Yeah, that's fitting. I'm not surprised at all. Last time we saw Blyville, Jalen Gumby, pretty good sophomore. Yeah,
Jalen Gumby, is just an unbelievable talent from a sophomore standpoint. That sophomore class that's moving up to high school, or that moved up this year, I was very fortunate to get to watch them at the junior high level because my son coached at Blyville Middle School. So a lot of talent coming up, and the pipeline is still full down there in the middle school level at Blyville. So who knows what they've got going on for the next couple of years. Coach Fisher is really building a monster over there at Blyville.
Yep, and they are hanging right in there for really a second seed. That's a very tough conference. It looks to me like Wynn is head and shoulders above everybody else, especially the way they took it to Forest City last week. Yeah,
I really thought athletically that Forest City probably matched up with Wynn about as good as anybody did. And Wynn just lined up and drubbed them and did what they wanted to do. Wynn is just the cream of the crop in the 5A East. They may be the cream of the crop in the 5A. The playoffs are really going to be interesting this year to see how that all transpires. But Blyville, Batesville are right there. Blyville, Batesville, Forest City are all right there together. So we're going to see how all the seeding shakes out tonight and see who goes where. So who travels, who stays at home.
Yeah. We'll talk a little bit more about the 5A East in just a moment, but I do want to back up and go ahead and recap our game from last week. Viewers' Choice game number 2, Cave City at Truman. And you hadn't been with us since the voting's been going on, but the polls have been blowing up. Certain schools are voting more than others and just blowing the polls up. Now, but get this though, Truman pretty much single-handedly, because Cave City, being outside of our coverage area, don't get it twisted. That was pretty much all Truman voting, and they took down a game with Valley View and Nettleton, two local area schools here, big 5A schools, and the Truman folks just outvoted them. So we were at Truman, saw a heck of a ball game. They're fighting hard. I think they pretty much locked up their playoff berth, but they're looking to host a playoff game now.
Yeah, and again, first drive of the game, Cade Gartman does what Cade Gartman does. This young man is one of the most special athletes in the state of Arkansas for his class, for the junior class. He is an exceptional running back, not just a good one, an exceptional running back. His numbers are ranked in the top in the state all across the board, scoring, yardage. He's just a phenomenal athlete. And what's fantastic is he's right here in Northeast Arkansas, and we get to see him showcase every week. It's going to be really interesting to see where Truman ends up. If they get to host a game, that's going to be a wonderful turnaround for Waymire and the staff over there, and how they've changed the culture at Truman in just a short period of time. Right. So again, I've always said this about Truman, having coached there and having done games there for Tubetown, it is a fantastic environment to see a football game on a Friday night. Now that they've added the fireworks, it's just a great festivities over there, and it's just they support their team and they love their Truman Wildcats.
The environment and culture, that's what everyone talks about now. Waymire has helped kind of rebuild the culture there into a winning culture, but once they get a taste of that, the community of Truman just eats it up. You're not going to go to another stadium in this area where it's backed up against people's backyards, and they got pretty much just a deck built out there. They have bonfires, they cook out, and everything like that. So very worthy of a home playoff game as far as the environment goes, and the community will go nuts if that does happen. You talked about Cade Gartman. He probably sits at about, after Friday night's performance, 17 carries for 230 yards and 2 TDs. So he probably sits right now right about 1,500 yards and 18 touchdowns on the season. And you talked about getting to see him in this area, and such a treat to see that caliber athlete. We'll get to see him one more year. He's just a junior. Exactly.
These kind of athletes don't come along all the time, and he's really, really special. And he works hard. He earns everything that he gets. He's a little undersized, and
he makes up for it.
He makes up for it because he's extremely powerful. He's quick as a hiccup. We had him at the Blitz Combine Series event in Brooklyn last spring, and he performed extremely well at that event. And he caught the eye of some college coaches. So it'll be very interesting to see where this young man's path takes him.
We got a highlight of him in the 2-minute drill. Well, just one of many highlights of a couple of different Truman games, but we got a highlight of him in that 2-minute drill from this week where he was face masked, but it didn't matter. He broke away from the tackle and then just ran like a madman, just running people over. So you say a little bit undersized, but he definitely makes up with that with just the courage and power and relentless running.
Yeah, he's just he's extremely strong. This guy's a workout fanatic. He's in the weight room all the time. He's just a blessed athlete, we're going on this journey with the young man, so I'm really excited about seeing how it all unfolds for him.
Another big thing for a couple of seniors, Hunter Woodruff and Garrett Woods playing their last game in Wildcat Stadium, unless they host that playoff game. They get an end zone as well on senior night, so really good to see that. And Cave City now, they have a pretty good quarterback, a pretty monstrous quarterback. This guy is 6'8", Joseph Patterson, 6'8", 225. He looked every bit of it, and he actually looked pretty good scrambling around back there. I was a little surprised that the big man was that mobile. He was moving around. Truman was putting pressure on him all night, but he was scrambling around, looking downfield, and did what he could.
Yeah, and he's got the advantage of height and vision. But Waymire and them brought a significant blitz package on the field last week. They wanted to put pressure on him. A big guy, when he's tall like that, they don't like a lot of slop down around their knees and their feet. And it makes them, get happy feet and want to roll out and do some things when they probably should have stayed in the pocket. But the young man throws a good ball. He throws a good catchable ball. He's smart, extremely smart kid. I think he's a 4.0 student. So, in Cave City, Coach Mosley and them up there, they're going to turn that program around too. Mm-hmm. They've changed the culture already. So, I look for Coach Mosley and them to really do some good things with that program in the future. And they've got a junior high program that's doing pretty good. So it's going to be exciting to see what goes on with Cave City as well.
It definitely is. And when I got the information and requested the information from Coach Mosley about Cave City last week, I got 4 spreadsheets.
Yeah.
So they're definitely putting in the energy and enthusiasm and breaking it all down and really analyzing their team. So I have no doubt that formula will turn into success.
I mentioned this about the Coach Leggett's, the Coach Waymeyers, the Coach Barberys, every coach we have in the area, including Coach Mosley, they are fully vested in these children and in these programs and in these schools and towns. And again, Coach Mosley's doing great things up there. He's got these kids believing occasionally that they can do great things, and you see flashes of it occasionally. And so just kudos to him and good luck, and I hope he keeps grinding.
So let's talk real quick about playoff scenarios out of the 4A3, because it looks like it's fairly close to wrapped up right now. Gosnell, Pocahontas definitely in, Truman, and in Highland looks like they're in as well. Westside lost to Highland and Truman, the 2 teams above them at this particular juncture, so it looks like they're going to miss out on the playoffs as well. But still a really good year for Highland Westside. And now you look back at it, how big was that missed extra point that we saw on Tubetown at Truman?
Yes, it's huge. And y'all, I believe the TV announcers told us at the time that could come back to haunt them.
And it will.
Yeah,
it definitely will. So Truman and Highland at 4-2 in conference, Westside at 3-3. So even if Westside was to beat Pocahontas, which is a pretty tough task, it really wouldn't matter since they dropped those games to Highland and Truman, because Pocahontas is 5-1 in conference and Gosnell is 6-0 in conference. So I was looking at Hootens a little bit earlier. They nailed this conference, other than Gosnell being 1 instead of 2. Mm-hmm. Other than that, they nailed it.
Yep. They did a great job on it. My surprises out of the deal was I really thought Brooklyn would make a better showing this year than they did. They've won some games. They've turned a corner. They'll keep building up there. The surprise team for me, again, was the Westside bunch. I was really proud to see Coach Ingles' bunch and how they fought every single game. They played hard and come out and perform. You go back to Gosnell and Pocahontas, they're just the cream of the crop of that conference, and they're going to be 1 and 2 for a long time because their junior highs are rolling.
So we haven't got a chance to talk since Gosnell went down to Pocahontas and beat Pocahontas. Were you a little bit surprised about that? It was a close game, so were you just a little bit surprised, especially after what we saw in Gosnell last year? But I don't think this is quite the same Pocahontas team, and I know it's not the same Gosnell defense.
Well, and again, what Gosnell does now is they with the double wing, they get in there and they control the clock. They control the time of possession, and they can take another team's offense out of the equation, and they run the other team's defense into the ground, but just grinding these long sustained drives, and and then they'll pop a big run on you when you go to sleep, or they'll hit you over the top when you put 10 in the box, and it's just Coach Barbary is a master at the double wing. He's a master at clock management, and he got up there and the kids, the kids did what they had to do. They performed the way that they needed to perform, and they pulled out a big win.
And it's going to give them the conference win, most likely. And so you will see a playoff game in Gosnell at the Pirate Ship next week. So let's move on and talk about that 5A East. We hit on a little bit. Wynn, of course, looks to be the cream of the crop, folks. They have scored 328 points just in conference games, only giving up 109 so far in conference. Just that margin is just incredible. They are sitting at the top of the 5A East at 6-0. So currently, right now, behind them is Batesville at 5-1, and then you have Blytheville and Forest City at 4-2. Big games tonight include Valley View is going to go to Batesville after they pulled off a big win at home against Nettleton last week. Blytheville is at Forest City. That is a huge one. Wynn is at Nettleton. Greene County Tech is at Paragould. So going into the final week, let's kind of fast forward into next week, the first week of the playoffs. How do you think that's going to play out? Wynn, no doubt, is going to remain number one. What else is going to happen there?
You know, that 3-4 seed determines it will be determined by the outcome of this game, and whether Blytheville's either going to go to Alma or they're going to go to Greenbrier, depending on which way the outcome comes tonight. So, and neither one of those are very good places to go play this year because both those teams are pretty good football teams. So, you know, Blytheville is not going to get a home game, and Forest City's not either. They're going to have to travel. So, but you know, it's on playing a higher seeded team as to your outcome tonight.
So, and if I'm remembering this correctly, Blytheville's two losses were they lost to Wynn and of course Batesville. So they have no shot at moving up into that second seed. And now Valley View is 3-3, but they basically are eliminated. They're not going to have a chance to get up into that 4 spot because their only 3 wins were against the 3 teams below them: Nettleton, Paragould, and Greene County Tech. Now, is the 5 East one that takes 4? They take 5, or is it just 4?
I'm not sure if they're going to take 5 this year. I think they just take 4, but I'm not 100% sure about that because that may change. It rotates around or something. So, but I'd be guessing if I told you.
It seemed like one of the conferences last year did end up taking 5. I don't remember who that was, and we'll have to double check on that to see if that is true. If that is the case, then we still got a little bit of a mess, so something to fight for. But as of now, the way I believe it's going down is Valley View could not leapfrog Forest City or Blytheville for that 4th spot because, like I said, their wins were against Nettleton, Paragould, and Greene County Tech. So very interesting, but again, that is just such a tough conference because Blytheville has looked good this year all year long, loaded with athletes, and have played some really tough teams. So played a really tough West Memphis team, fairly close, came down to the 4th quarter. Then you saw, of course, what West Memphis did to Jonesboro. So let's go ahead, and we're in Osceola tonight. First chance to get a look at that beautiful new turf. I saw some pictures online. Man, it really makes that stadium just look incredible.
Yeah, they've taken a wonderful stadium and they've made it a super stadium. It's as close to Texas high school football as we're going to get in Northeast Arkansas right now until somebody builds a brand new facility. It's just gorgeous. It sits out there in the middle of the field, and the lights, you can see them from miles around, and Coach Leggett and the Osceola schools have done a great job in creating a wonderful environment to come watch a football game.
First few times I went there, it just kind of sneaks up on you because you're driving through farmland, through farm fields, deep in Mississippi County, and then you see the big bright lights in the big stadium. Looks like a small college stadium. Just kind of sneaks up on you. So anxious to see that turf. Now, unfortunately for the Seminoles, they fell into quite a bit of hole this year, not really playing for much at this point other than to let their seniors go out in a big way and possibly play spoiler for Rivercrest and knock them out of that top spot.
Well, this is the biggest game of the year for these two. It doesn't matter if one of them's going to playoffs and one of them's not. It's still a chance for Osceola to spoil Rivercrest's year. And, Rivercrest is still going to go to the playoffs regardless, but it would put a blemish on their schedule. Osceola has got the athletes to give Rivercrest some problems. Osceola, they've moved kids around. Darren Fly's played fullback. He's played quarterback. They brought in, a young sophomore quarterback. Big Noah Smith's playing offensive side of the ball, defensive side of the ball. He's making plays. If Osceola can play to their potential, they can give Rivercrest some problems. Now, conversely, Rivercrest, if they play to their potential, this could be over in the first quarter. Big Freddie Ware and Bruce Parker have had tremendous years offensively, defensively, leadership-wise. They started to turn the corner as far as leaders go and taking charge of this ball club as far as their seniors go. Kentavious Robertson, the young sophomore running back, is putting up some good numbers now. So, and Kelly Chandler's always got something up his sleeve when it comes to this Osceola rivalry. He'll pull out a trick play. There'll be a Statue of Liberty run or a hook and lateral run, but again, Coach Leggett, he's always got something in his hip pocket as well. And it's just a fun game to go watch. It's one of my favorites to attend because, everybody on both sidelines knows everybody else. This is a big community game. And again, I say this all the time, but these kids' parents played this game against each other, and these kids' grandparents played in this game against each other. So that's what it means to them. And it's just a pride match tonight. And if Osceola can trip them up, they would love it. But they better buckle up because if they don't, this could get out of hand quick.
Yeah, Rivercrest has really turned the corner from early on in the year and put it together. And if your impressions of them were just from early scores earlier in the year, you're going to be surprised when you look at that 3A3 standing and see that they are at the top of it, along with Newport at 5-1. Of course, one of the big reasons that they've had success the last couple of years, one of the big reasons for Cecil Langston's success last year, and of course running game success this year is Big Fred Ware, 6'3", 340 pounds, being recruited by several area teams. Eastern Illinois, SEMO, even our own backyard team here, Arkansas State.
Yep, Freddie's got a lot of teams giving some interest to him. So we'll see how that all plays out. Freddie came in as, he's just turned into a grown man out there on the football field. And when he realized that he could run and move these people out of the way about midway through last season, that's when Cecil's numbers started to really pile up. And Cecil Langston will tell you that he got 3,211 yards, and half of them was with his hand on the back of Freddie Ware's back. So, again, it's not all about Freddie, though, at Rivercrest. The team has bought into what Coach Chandler's got going on, and the kids are really believing in that they can win right now. So, guess what? They did this last year, and look where it ended up.
Right.
So, watch out for Rivercrest.
And we've been saying that all season long, excuse me, that this is what Rivercrest does. They always schedule up, schedule hard, and don't forget the only blemish on Gosnell's record is Rivercrest. That game was played in Gosnell, so they always schedule up, always play tough, and we've been saying that all year long. Rivercrest will be fine when it comes to conference play, and they are right there 5-1. Now, this is probably the most interesting conference with the most to watch out for in this last week of conference play. This is the only conference in our area, of our area teams, where the playoff teams are not exactly locked in. We still have a lot to sort through as far as seedings go, but we actually have that fourth spot in the 3A3 still up for grabs, and it comes down to a big couple of games. Rivercrest, Newport, they are 5-1 in the 3A3. Piggott has locked in a spot 2 at 4-2, but then it gets interesting between Walnut Ridge, who is 3-3, and Manila, who is 3-3. Walnut Ridge has the huge game, huge crosstown rival. It's always been a rivalry. Now that they are back in the same conference, Walnut Ridge plays Hoxie. Talk about playing spoiler. Hoxie is 2-4. Their playoff hopes have pretty much been diminished. But they could play spoiler big time. If they beat Walnut Ridge, then Manila's in. If Walnut Ridge wins, they're in.
It's I just, Coach Sears and Hoxie have just battled injuries, battled limits on the amount of kids they got out this year, just battled talent. But yet they'll sneak up and put a whooping on somebody when they can, because these great coaches and good staff and these kids are starting to buy in a little bit. But again, Walnut Ridge has had a good year as well, and Walnut Ridge has got a quarterback there, Will Ware. Will is one of the premier athletes in Northeast Arkansas. He's like a Blake Daniels was from Mark Tree. He's all everything in baseball and in football, and he's just a phenomenal athlete. So if Will gets rolling tonight and he can get some completions early in the game and loosen them up, and then the run game can start going for them, I really think that they can handle Hoxie pretty good.
And Manila has a tough test themselves. They are at Newport. But just kind of some previous scores, how we got here, these potential tiebreaker scenarios is Walnut Ridge beat Manila. That was week 1 of conference play, 38-15. Manila beat Hoxie. That was week 2 of conference play. So Walnut Ridge wins, they're in. If they lose, that gives Manila the opportunity to slip into that 4th spot. So we knew it was going to be a mess all year long, and it's come down to that. And we thought Hoxie would be a little bit more a part of that. We also thought Osceola would be a little bit more a part of the playoff talk right now at this point in the season.
Yeah, Osceola had just 3-week run there where they had about half their backfield was out with injuries. That's what's causing Coach Leggett to have to move kids around and fill holes and play, sophomores and stuff. And depth and injuries play a big part in these 3A schools because they don't have a lot of participation numbers out there. I think Osceola will rebound this next year again. Their athletes are there. So just a matter of time before Osceola gets it right again and gets back in the playoff picture.
So now let's move on and talk about the 2A3, a conference that we've somewhat neglected here on Tubetown this year. We have not got a chance to see any 2A3 ball, but we put them in the Viewer's Choice poll the last 3 weeks. It was really kind of rooting for you, not to be biased at all, but we were really kind of rooting for the 2A because we have so many good games, especially coming down these last 2 weeks. But the other schools just dominated the polls and the voting, so we're not going to get a chance to see some of these huge games. Earl is at EPC, that a huge game, and Mark Tree is at Cross County. Those 2 games alone are deciding that conference.
Well, the Earl EPC game's a home. You win this one, you got a home game. You lose it, you're traveling. And, EPC has come out of nowhere this year. They've had a great season when it got into conference play. Chance Gray is another one of these phenomenal Northeast Arkansas athletes. Chance picked up an offer this week from Lyon College, so we're just super excited about that with Chance. He's going to get to play at the next level, and he's right down here at Lepanto, Arkansas. So it's just phenomenal what's going on with EPC. Earl and Cross County, we thought they would be at the top of the mix this year. Mark Tree has battled through, losing early and fought their way back into it. And I think Salem may have the open date this week. Is that correct? Because of Blytheville Kip?
They do, and the Blytheville Kip thing has kind of thrown this conference into a little bit of a mess because you have an odd number of conference games and each team having to take a week off. I think a couple of these teams may even have 2 bye weeks. But Salem has officially eliminated from the playoff contention because they're sitting at 3-3 with a week 10 off week. Mark Tree already has 3 wins, plus they own that 2-point win over Salem just a few weeks ago. So that's why every week is so important. You never know what week is going to come back and really kind of be the deciding factor of whether you make the playoffs or not. Mark Tree just so happened to be that 30-28 win they got over Salem just a couple of weeks ago. That did it for them.
Absolutely. And it's a shame that a scheduling issue comes into play with regard to playoff seeding and that sort of thing.
So that is your playoff teams. Again, some seeding still to work out like most of our other conferences, but Cross County, Earl, EPC, Mark Tree, they will be in the playoffs out of the 2A3. And I was noticing something earlier. I wanted to ask you real quick, were you a little bit surprised that EPC was able to go into Cross County last week and beat them by 2 touchdowns?
Well, I just, again, you don't ever count Chance Gray out. Chance put on a show down there. Jason Barber was at that game, and he just simply texted me and said, "Beast," and that's all he said.
And you knew exactly what he was talking about.
Yes, I knew who he was talking about and what he was referring to. And Cross County had just, not that they were playing above their heads this year, but they were playing exceptionally well, and they just ran into a buzzsaw. Any given Friday night in Northeast Arkansas, something good can happen with regard to these teams, so especially teams that have athletes like Chance Gray on them.
Yeah, well, we really have missed 2A3 ball on Tubetown this year. I can guarantee you that because we didn't really expect it to be so much parity in this conference. We really didn't, and this has turned out to be one of the conferences that's just up in the air.
Yeah, you thought with Cross County losing Holden Biasy to Arkansas State that was really going to hurt, and Anthony Davis.
And their coach.
And the coach. And then you thought Earl was going to just run away with it. Well, they've been competitive. They battled injuries this year and had the injury bug come through. The parity is surprising in that conference.
Well, and you mentioned, we talked about the coaching change kind of mid-early season at Cross County. So that's another thing. We got two brand new coaches in the mix here with Brandon Powell at EPC and Burt Greenwell taking over for Coach Williams at Cross County. So throwing them right into the fire, and these two guys have performed and helped get their teams in the playoffs.
Yep, done a great job this year.
So let's move on. Let's go ahead and take a look at the schedule of games for this week. Let's go ahead and start in Arkansas. Week 10, this is it, your final slate of games that we'll talk about before we move into the playoffs for some of our area teams. Marion is at Jonesboro. Jonesboro keeps on rolling. Valley View is at Batesville. Big game for Valley View, just to kind of build momentum, maybe going into next year, and just to say they did it. They've played tough all year with a 5-4 record. Tough game, though, against Batesville. Blytheville will travel to Forest City. That's a good confidence game for both of those teams heading into the playoffs. Wynn keeps rolling. They are 9-0. They will be at Nettleton. Greene County Tech and Paragould both looking for their first 5A East Conference win. And it comes down to basically a Greene County rivalry game, as it always does for the final week of the season. Gosnell is 8-1. They will be at Harrisburg, and Brooklyn is at Cave City. That should actually be a pretty decent game. Let's flip the page. Truman is going to be at Highland. That's going to be a good game. Very interested in see the outcome of that game and see what happens out of that one. Pocahontas is at Westside. Again, don't count Westside out. They've been a tough game and dropped a lot of close games and fought hard in every game.
I'm picking this one as my spoiler.
Uh-oh, look out. It's definitely a possibility. I gave Westside actually a little bit better chance last week than actually what happened, but they are 5-4 on the outside of the playoffs. Walnut Ridge and Hoxie, there we talked about that one. That is a huge one, not only just a huge rivalry game, so much on the line in the playoffs out of the 3A. And of course, glad that those two teams are back in the same conference again. That's going to be interesting and exciting going forward. Manila is at Newport. Big ask for Manila tonight, but we'll see what they can do against Newport, who is also new to the area and making their splash at 7-2. Earl is at EPC. Again, one of those games that could be for that conference crown, deciding it all. And that next game is just as important. Mark Tree is at Cross County. So many big games coming up in Arkansas that we'll finally maybe know what the playoff picture looks like Saturday morning, but we really don't as of right now. So out of all of that, what's most intriguing to you, do you think, across the board in all the regions?
Well, of course, the Blytheville Forest City game, playing at Forest City in that stadium, that's the same stadium I played in 1980. And, that place gets to rocking down there, and it's going to be wild. It's going to be a big crowd, and that game has a lot of implications on it. It's just going to flip-flop the seating a little bit. The EPC Earl game and the Mark Tree, who does Mark Tree play?
Cross County.
Mark Tree, Cross County. Those will be great atmospheres for both of them. And again, everything that happens right there is going to shake out the playoff picture. Again, I picked the Westside Pocahontas game as my spoiler this week. I just don't know. I think sometimes teams look past other teams if they've already made the playoffs, and this one's setting up to be interesting.
Yep, definitely. And that's why I was kind of keeping an eye on Pocahontas last week. We'll see. Pocahontas does travel to Westside. Let's go ahead. And speaking of playoffs, we're already there in Tennessee. We are now there. This week will be the first week of playoffs in Tennessee. Let's go ahead and pull up that schedule of games now. This is just our area schedule of games of playoffs. And before we talk about that, Larry, were you able to keep up? I know you've been traveling so much, but Whitehaven, Cordova, the two 9-0 showdown last week. Whitehaven ended up winning it, but that was basically for the city crown. What a game.
Yeah. Whitehaven is unbelievable. Cordova, we didn't expect them to be as strong as they were this year. You always know that Coach Salisbury and Whitehaven are going to be right there in the mix, and man, there's some big-time talent on both sides of the ball last week. It's just unbelievable. Hate that our bunch from Mumford didn't make the playoffs this year, but they had a good run. Again, Mumford will be back. It's just a good program over there, great community, great supporting cast. Lee Cody and all our friends over there, man, we just wanted to say hi to y'all and hope you have a good year, and we're ready to come back. So,
yeah, we will definitely be back at Mumford and making trips down there for sure. So many good games that we saw there, and I think they finished 5-5, I believe. So they put up a tough effort every single game, but man, it turns out that their conference was pretty hard too, with Central and of course Brighton. But you see there, Covington made a run late in the season to go ahead and finish in playoff contention. Interesting enough that they're going to play Dyersburg. They hosted Dyersburg last year and beat Dyersburg in the first round, but they're going to Dyersburg this year, so look out. Dyersburg may be looking for a little bit of revenge there. Millington made it out of that conference at 2-8. They got quite a big ask though at Haywood, 9-1, but really good experience for that young team of Coach Michaels to make the playoffs and at least go down there, even if you get thumped, to play Haywood in a playoff type environment and know what it's like, so you can come back next year armed and ready.
You're in the playoffs,
Yeah,
man.
you're
And
in the playoffs.
those sophomores are now just basically juniors. And it's going to be interesting. I'm telling you, mark my words about Millington. They're going to be one of the tops in state next 2 years.
I really like that quarterback they have. And so our only area team to actually be hosting a playoff game is Brighton. Looked really good all season long, 7-3. They're going to be hosting Henry County. And then, of course, one of the private schools, Tipton Rosemart, made the playoffs as well. They'll be at Lausanne, who's just a beast. That is just a prep school sports powerhouse school.
Yeah, we've got National Scouting Report athlete Cameron Taylor plays on Lausanne's team. He's a football, basketball grade. He's already had offers from all different kinds of schools, and they're just rolling. They're unbelievable. I saw them in a little bit against Germantown. They look like a college team when they come out.
Yep, absolutely. So hope you enjoy all that action from this week. Playoffs in Tennessee going on, setting up the playoffs in Week 10. Bunch of senior nights going on throughout the area in Arkansas tonight. So hope you enjoy the action. Now, and glad that, thank you for joining us all season long on Prep Football Tonight. We've cycled some guys in here. Brad Bobo and Jason Barber set in while you've been traveling. But now I want to turn it over to you, Larry. You got a little bit of a special announcement, a shakeup going on in National Scouting Report that directly affects us here at Prep Football Tonight.
Well, yeah, it's not so much a shake-up as it is that I've taken a promotion and I'm moving to Alabama, to the home office. I'll be working in corporate office. Just want to let everybody know, the athletes that I'm involved with, there's no change with anything that we're doing moving forward. We'll continue to work your athletes through the process and give them the full amount of attention that they deserve. But as far as future athletes and contacts and stuff, we want everybody to reach out to Jason. Jason Barber is our area scout here. And Jason, if you haven't met Jason, he's accessible on social media. You can reach out to him there. Again, I want to thank Tubetown. I want to thank Northeast Arkansas, but I especially want to thank the families of Northeast Arkansas. The reason I've got this promotion is because of them. And it's because of the success we've had with the athletes in this area. We've got college coaches coming back to Northeast Arkansas now. And, if we preach that we've got great athletes and great people over here. And our kids in Northeast Arkansas are some phenomenal kids, and these college staffs are starting to find this out. So any success that I've had is because of the people that I've done, that I've worked with. These kids are phenomenal, and you have kids, you have the all-time leading rusher in the state of Arkansas. You have the all-time leading tackler at a high school that's put NFL guys in the Hall of Fame. You have just all different kinds of athletes across the board. You have, baseball players that are 5-time or 4-time All-Staters. It's just you can't replace the memories that I've gotten from this group of young people up here, and I just want to tell the kids that I've worked with and the kids that I'm working with that man, y'all made this a dream job for me. And I tell y'all this all the time. Y'all keep me young. Y'all keep me excited about Northeast Arkansas athletics. And I just really am thankful and I'm grateful to everybody that I've been involved with. And National Scouting Report's presence will not be any less than it has been. We're still going to continue to work with Tubetown. We're still going to continue to be at events all over the place, and it's my goal with the company to grow our presence here even more. So again, if you're a high school football athlete, or if you're a high school coach or parent and you think that your athlete can play at the next level, contact Jason Barber. Jason can change that child's life, and we would look forward to working with it in any capacity. My role at corporate now is hiring and expanding the company from that aspect. So, but again, Jason will take care of any family's needs that they have up here, and from National Scouting Report corporate to the families, this is a team effort. When he brings a kid in, we're all about helping change that kid's life. So. Again, I want to thank everybody, and I appreciate you guys here at Tubetown. Y'all been wonderful partners, and I look forward to many years with y'all. So that's all I got to say. I appreciate everybody. It's been a great 3 years run here on Tubetown, and we're going to continue to do this. And it's all about getting exposure to our Northeast Arkansas high school football kids and our West Tennessee high school football kids. And I appreciate you.
Well, I'm glad you said that you're going to continue doing it on, because I'm thinking the star of the show is leaving. We're going to get canceled. That's it. No more prep football tonight. But we'll make sure that National Scouting Report is still a huge part of this show going forward into next season, because it's honestly a whole lot of fun and the time flies by. But I also know, I want to say, this had to be a little bit probably bittersweet for you. A big move, a great move for yourself and National Scouting Report, but you've called this area home your entire life.
Yeah, this is home. This is where I played my high school football. I went off to college and I came back here. I met my wife here. My kids played at Gosnell. You know, it's tough for old Chickasaw to go down to Alabama. But what people don't understand about me is I was raised in Alabama, so I've got a little history down there as well. So, you know, just great memories up here, great friends. The Blitz Combine Series will be in Northeast Arkansas again this year because of the fantastic turnout, because our corporate people saw how Brooklyn was all in on this deal, and they want to award that to them again. So that's a huge accomplishment for Brooklyn High School and for Coach Spears and that bunch up there. So the Blitz Combine Series will be coming back to Northeast Arkansas, and again, I will see y'all there. Yeah,
a great facility to hold that in, great school to hold that in. And we have a lot of different schools in this area that are great environments to hold stuff like that for. And so we hope to continue having you on the show as much as we can. If we have to do maybe a phone conference interview or something from time to time next season, just kind of keep up with you and maybe keep you informed about Northeast Arkansas high school football and West Tennessee high school football as well.
Well, you know, the great thing about it is I've still got kids in the program that I'm still having to keep up with and still having to work with, so I'll have to keep up with football in the area, and I just love this area. I love the people here in this area. Golly, if I tried to thank everybody, I'd miss somebody, but just thank you to everybody that we've touched each other throughout these last 3 years, and it's been a wonderful ride, and look forward to the future.
Yep, absolutely. Thank you, Larry.
Thank you.
It's been a great 2 years on Prep Football Tonight. And so I just also want to thank everyone since this is our season finale of Prep Football Tonight, thank everyone, including the man in my ear, our executive producer, Marcus Carlton, all season long, Jason Barber of National Scouting Report, Larry Perrin, of course, of National Scouting Report, National Scouting Report as a company as a whole, and Brad Bobo for filling in a few times with us here on Prep Football Tonight as well. So that's going to do it, and we'll see you around Alabama and have you phone in a few times and keep being a part of this thing. But meanwhile, we'll still have Jason Barber on the show and maybe whoever else might stop by from National Scouting Report.
Fantastic. Been a pleasure.
Yep, absolutely. Thanks a lot, Larry. And we'll see you right back here for more Prep Football Tonight right after this.
Now guess what? Y'all are fixing to find out what energy is all about. I am a firm believer in weight training, strength and conditioning, and improving yourself physically and setting yourself apart from the rest of the world. You can be a good athlete or you can be an elite athlete. And it is a mindset. It is a lifestyle. The ones that set themselves apart are the ones who are willing to sacrifice and dedicate their lives to this goal. My grades don't matter. If they want me, they'll come get me. My grades don't matter. I'm gonna get in. Don't you believe that? This coach is going to look at you and say, hey, we're going to look at his film. We're going to see if he can play at our level. If he's a linebacker, we're going to see if he feels downhill, okay? If he hits with his eyes up, if he shoots his hands. If he's an offensive lineman, can he step, okay? Does he use his hands good? Got good hips, flexibility. Does he reload his hips, okay? If he's a defensive back, does he open up in the coverage? Does he run the alley? Does he hit like a freight train? If he's a wide receiver, soft hands, good hands, gets open. Second level gear. If he's a running back, great vision, sees the hole, hits the hole, gets north and south. If he's a quarterback, throws in tight windows, throws the great deep ball, throws a good out route, deep out route, has every throw, big arm, smart, doesn't make mistakes, protects the ball, wins games. These are the evaluations you get. If you want to go to the Division I level, that's only 1.5% of 100 people. If you want to go to the SEC, the Big 10, the Big 12, the Pac-12, or the ACC, the big conferences, that's 0.5%. That's rare air. National Scouting Report is the nation's oldest and most respected scouting organization in the world. We've been doing this since 1980. We started this. I'm one of y'all. I'm one of y'all. I was y'all's age, wanting to go play college football. And that's what I do. I help get you there.
Welcome back to Prep Football Tonight, the final Prep Football Tonight of the year. We close out the year in Osceola as the 3A3 leading Rivercrest Colts come to town. Rivercrest is 5-1 in conference and 6-3 overall. Their only conference loss was to Piggott. Newport is also 5-1. Their only loss was to Rivercrest. So, if Rivercrest wins tonight, they are your 3A3 champion. If Osceola wins tonight and Newport beats Manila, then Newport is your 3A3 champion. Either way, it looks like Rivercrest will once again host a playoff game. Now, Rivercrest has been on an incredible run over the last 2 months, and it seemed to all start in Gosnell, a game that Tubetown was there for. The Colts went into that game 0-2, having dropped games against 5A Paragould and Valley View. Now, the concerning thing was that those games weren't even close, and Rivercrest wasn't scoring many points. But Coach Chandler's group did what they always do, get ready for the big rivalry game, and string together a heck of a conference run. Starting 0-2, they have won 6 of their last 7 now, including 4 in a row. Kentavious Robinson, I guess we've been sleeping on this guy. He stepped in and did his best Cecil Langston impression all season long. Robinson is just a sophomore and already has 1,372 yards and 20 touchdowns this year. During Rivercrest's current 4-game winning streak, he has 90 carries for 936 yards and 14 touchdowns. Now, those big guys like Fred Ware, Joseph Lovin, Daniel Guerrero, and Daniel Fines have been doing a heck of a job creating holes for the guys to run through. So now, speaking of Big Fred, got to word from Big Fred Sr. that Freddie's getting interest from Eastern Illinois, SEMO, Arkansas Monticello, as well as Arkansas State, among others. He is 6'3", 340 pounds, and like Larry said, Cecil Langston earned a lot of his yards last year with an arm on Freddie's back just following him downfield. Along with Robinson, the Colts have another really good sophomore in Demelin Brown. He is a dual-threat guy that will play quarterback and running back along with Kessler Pierce. Now, the Seminoles will also have to keep an eye on Preston Wilson and Bruce Parker in the Colts' defensive backfield. We saw Bruce Parker making plays all over the field on Tubetown against Gosnell and really was a key part of that win for Rivercrest with 2 big interceptions. Now, on the Osceola side of the ball, the Noles have really been struggling to find offense as of late this year. They've been moving DJ Fly around as of late, trying to find some new wrinkles. So we saw Osceola get shut out at Manila in our first Viewers' Choice game of the year just a couple of weeks ago. The Seminoles also got shut out last week against Newport. Here's the thing. Almost half of Coach Leggett's roster is made up of sophomores, so I have no doubt they will be much improved and right back in the middle of the playoff hunt this time next year. Quarterback DJ Fly is also just a junior, so Coach Leggett will have that experience coming back to help lead the team as well next season. Now, Osceola does still have a lot to play for tonight. Don't get it twisted. Number 1 is a classic Mississippi County rivalry game with bragging rights at stake here tonight. Now, number 2, they could play spoiler for Rivercrest and prevent the Colts from winning the 3A3 title. And finally, this is another good chance for Coach Leggett to move pieces around and start thinking about next year. Now, Hooten says that Rivercrest is just 2-point favorites in this game here tonight. Now, Rivercrest has won the last 6 meetings between these schools, but again, this is a classic Mississippi County showdown, and it is senior night in Osceola, so not to mention that this is also one of the Viewers' Choice games, so it's for you, the viewers. Thank you again for everyone who voted in the 3 Viewers' Choice polls. Last reminder of the year to check out nfhsnetwork.com. If you know anyone that does not have Ritter Cable at home, they too can watch this game live tonight on the NFHS network. So also watch replays from all of our games all year long. Check out nfhsnetwork.com right now and set up your account. Doesn't take but a minute. Time to hand out some more thanks for another big season of prep football tonight. Huge thanks to National Scouting Report, Larry Perrin and Jason Barber. Big thanks to Brad Bobo for joining us this year. And thank you to the coaches for all the interviews, rosters, stats, and everything that they provided to us all year long. And thanks, of course, to the schools for welcoming us on their campus all year long. And, of course, thank you, the viewers at home, for watching all season long. It is time to get you to Osceola, where Andy Maness and Ryan Short are standing by, ready to bring you the season finale of Prep Football Live. For my executive producer, Marcus Carlton, this is Brandon Reed saying we will see you for hoop season real soon. Enjoy the game and have a great weekend.
But we're just about set for game time here from Seminole Stadium. Right now, the Rivercrest Colts taking the field. Coach Kelly Chandler at the helm for the Colts, and they're coming out in their road white and red tonight. Seminoles will be in their home purple and gold, and now they have taken the field, and the few Seminole few Seminole fans that have climbed into the stands early on here in the evening are giving them their support. And of course, everybody's still making their way to their seats as we're just about ready to get this football game started. Again, appreciate you joining us tonight here on Tubetown, our final football game here in the regular season, and we're hoping for a good one. Usually, whenever you have a rivalry game, you could throw those stats out the window. You could throw the regular season records out the window because rivalry games kind of negate all of that. There's a lot of emotions, a lot of passion, and just things are a bit on edge, if you will, between both teams. I mean, especially these two teams. These two teams are only separated by 12 miles of highway, and you can imagine that makes any meeting between these two teams, whether it's on the football field, whether it's on the basketball court, these two teams are always going to play each other very tightly because there's a lot of pride on the line between these two teams. So the Rivercrest Colts will start tonight's football game with possession. And we are certainly looking forward to watching Kentavious Robinson for those Rivercrest Colts. He's going to get a chance to start off tonight's game on offense. He's a senior tailback, a sophomore tailback for the Rivercrest Colts, and a real bright spot for the Colts' future. Seminoles lined up to kick this one away to open up tonight's game. A low line drive kick. It'll bounce at the 15 and taken at the 10. Across the 25 to the 35. Now the 40 is where they are tripped up. And here come the Rivercrest Colts out on offense to start tonight's game. Again, I mentioned Kentavious Robinson. Also got to watch out for their sophomore quarterback, DeMillan Brown. He has been a playmaker this season for the Colts as well. Ready to start the game now from their own 41-yard line. There's a snap, handoff goes right up the middle at the 50, 45-40, and tackled from behind as the running back bursts ahead all the way to the 35-yard line, and I believe that was Jamaica Franks on the carry there. He's a junior fullback for the Colts, and he gets first down yardage and more. Just like that, a gain of about 25 yards, and now they're lined up on the Osceola 36-yard line, 1st and 10. Seminoles bringing 11 men in the box. They're looking to jump the snap here, and I don't know if you saw right there, the middle linebacker looked like right into the neutral zone, and that's going to be a flag against the Seminoles, and that will move the Colts 5 yards closer to the end zone. Now it'll put them at about the 31-yard line. Now here we go, 1st and 5. Handoff goes to Robinson. Robinson across the 30-yard line down to the 27, and he'll pick up about 3 yards on the carry, and that'll bring up 2nd and short for the Seminoles. For the Colts, rather. Seminoles, the first 3 plays have lined up with 11 men in the box. They're trying to stop that run from Kentavious Robinson, who's been a beast on the ground this year. He takes the pitch running to the left side. He's across the 25, and he'll be ridden down near the sidelines. Looks like he's got more than enough to move the chains, and they're moving them. So
Robinson picks up
another first down for these Rivercrest Colts.
10 at the 21.
So just a handful of plays and already into the red zone of the Seminoles, and they're going to hurry to the line here. Still 11 men in the box for the Seminoles trying to stop the run. A little reverse there that time, working to the right for Bruce Parker, and Parker is going to pick up about 4 yards on the carry, bringing up 2nd and 6. So now Parker will come out of the game, and they're going to bring Preston Wilson in. Under center is Kessler Pierce. Pierce will hand it off to the fullback up the middle. He's down near the 10-yard line, and Jamaica Franks on the carry there. Might have picked up another first down, and he did, and it looks like they may not even have to score a touchdown here. They're very near a goal situation, a 1st and goal situation, but I believe they're going to get them at about the 11-yard line. So they only got to get to the 1 now, 1st and 10 from the 11, and again, in that wing T formation. Robinson goes in motion, but they turn around and hand it off to Preston Wilson, and Wilson will be stopped short of the line of scrimmage Might have even lost a yard on that carry. First time we've seen a First time we've seen a run here from the Colts be stopped in the backfield. Now we'll line up here on 2nd and 12. Handoff running to the left with Robinson. Robinson avoids one tackler in the backfield, but he'll move across the 10-yard line down to about appears to be about the 7 or the 8. But either way, that will bring up 3rd down.
Third down and 7 for the Colts.
So now 3rd and 7 coming up for Rivercrest. And Osceola has again had 11 men in the box trying to guard against the run here on this first drive for the Colts. You might see a play action come out of the playbook here from Coach Chandler. Same formation for the Colts. Pierce under center. Now he wants to turn and change the play from Coach Chandler. Might have an audible here or a check down, and the play clock reaches 0, so they'll have to burn an early timeout here in the first half. We're going to take one with them. 8:23 to play here in the first quarter. Still scoreless between Rivercrest and Osceola.
We are more than daily transactions. We are more than checks and debit cards. We are more than farmland. For the people of Poinsett County, we are more than just a bank. At First Delta Bank, we see the world through the eyes of our customers because we know that our customers are our most valuable investment. We are proud of who we are and want to earn your banking business. We are First Delta Bank, Equal Housing Lender, member FDIC.
Tell me when. Andy Manus back here with you at Seminole Stadium, where the Osceola Seminoles trying to keep the Colts out of the end zone here. It's 3rd and 7. Rivercrest had to call a timeout because they ran out of time on the play clock. They had to talk some things over, and now they're lined up here on 3rd and 7, getting ready to go. There's the snap, handoff working to the right, dive in at the end zone. Preston Wilson, did he get in? Signal from the near side official is he is short. He is short by about half a yard, did not get in, and that's going to bring up, well, again, they didn't have to get into the end zone to get that first down. They had to get to the 1, so they got a first down. So now 1st and goal from the 1-yard line. Kind of lucked out there. They got the ball marked at the 10.5. Only had to get down past the 1-yard line. They did. Now 1st and goal from the 1. Robinson goes in motion. Handoff up the middle, and they are across the goal line. 6 points for the Rivercrest Colts. 7:56 left to play here in the first quarter. Nearly just a little over 4 minutes gone by here in the first, and the Colts have struck pay dirt first. Started this drive back at their own about their own 45-yard line. And now they're lined up. It appears that they're going to attempt an extra point here as Kessler Pierce is out to hold. To attempt the extra point, it's going to be Mateo Chirinos. There's the kick, and it's through the uprights. Good. Chirinos boots that one through, and our score is now 7-0 with 7:56 to play here in the first quarter. You're watching high school football on Tubetown.
Kaiser LP Gas Company is a family-owned propane company serving residential, commercial, and agricultural customers in Craighead, Crittenden, Poinsett, and Mississippi counties in northeast Arkansas. Located on Highway 181 South in Kaiser, Arkansas, Kaiser LP Gas can fill all of your propane needs, whether it's for farm equipment, your home, or business. Kaiser LP Gas has you covered. Call today at 870-526-2198.
$7:56 to play here in the first quarter. Your score 7-0. Rivercrest leading the Seminoles, capping off a 65-yard drive. And now this kickoff taken on the other side of the 20. Lansing back to the 20-yard line, knocked down at about the 19. That's where the Seminoles are going to take over on their first offensive drive of the night here on senior night in front of their home crowd. And the Colts scoring off of a 1-yard touchdown rush from Preston Wilson. And they lead this one, the Mississippi County rivalry, 7-0. Just a little over 4 minutes gone by here in the opening quarter. 7:51 now remaining on the clock. Look at to see a look at the Seminole offense for the first time this year here on Tubetown. DJ Fly has been under center to play quarterback for the Seminoles a majority of this year. He'll stand under center and hand it off, working to the right this time. Picking up about 3 yards on the carry are the Seminoles. And I believe it was Talon Gavin on the carry that time for Osceola. So now that brings up 2nd and 5 after about a 5-yard pickup there. Of course, Osceola enjoying their new turf this year, and it looks fantastic. It's the first time we've got to see it this year. It looks great. 2nd and 5 coming up. Their handoff up the middle. And a host of Colts there to meet the runner. Robert White on the carry for Osceola. That'll bring up 3rd and manageable for the Seminoles. They got to get down to their own 30-yard line. Lined up in the same formation, 3 backs in the backfield. Fly pitches it out across the 25, made it to the 30-yard line, knocked out of bounds at about the 32 by a Colt defender, Carl Coleman, in there to stop the first down run. Traylon Woodson on the carry, and again, a Seminole first down, moving the chains for the first time tonight. Didn't take long for the Colts to get in the end zone tonight. If you're just joining us, they lead this one 7-0, capping off their first offensive drive of the night with a 1-yard touchdown run. Osceola trying to answer it here, but now backed up on their side of the field on a first down run. They'll take it to the left side of the field, and they'll be stopped just shy of the 35-yard line, picking up maybe half a yard from the line of scrimmage, bringing up 2nd and 9. Osceola just scoring 16.8 points per game this year, giving up nearly 31 on defense. Again, they've lost their last 3 games, but tonight they're just trying to find the end zone. They've been shut out their last 2. Play action by Fly, and Fly is lit up in the backfield. He tried to fake the handoff, but he did not fool one of the Rivercrest defenders at all. And we actually don't have that young man on our roster, and that's a shame because he just laid the lumber down on DJ Fly. Number 4 for the Colts out there. So now it's going to bring up 3rd and long. Fly might have sold that play action just a bit too much there. He faked the handoff and didn't look up till he was nearly hit by the defender. That's when he was stopped in the backfield. Now from the other side of the 30 at the 29-yard line, they'll spread things out into the shotgun formation. 2 wide receivers on either side for Fly. Looking to throw to the far side, facing pressure. He's flushed out of the pocket here to the near side, wrapped up by Kentavious Robinson, and it will be 4th down now for the Osceola Seminoles. They're going to have to punt this one away unless they want to take a gamble here, go for it on 4th and long inside their own 30-yard line. Rivercrest has already got their special teams unit out on the field. Of course, being at the 3A level, a lot of these guys are playing both ways, so that could factor into tonight's game. You got to look and see who's going to get tired first because, again, you're having a lot of people out there on the offensive line that are also playing on the defensive line and vice versa. You got some guys playing wide receiver, other guys playing defensive back and doing both of them. Kick taken by Parker on the other side of the 40-yard line. He'll be tripped up as he crosses the 45. They'll spot him at the 46, and here comes the the Colts offense back out on the field for the second time tonight. That drive just under 3 minutes of game time off the clock for the Osceola Seminoles, having to punt it away on their first possession of the night. And again, they have faced some difficulties on offense their last 2 times out. They dropped a 35-0 game last week to Newport. The week before that, they were on the road at Manila. Didn't score there either. This time a pitch out to Robinson on the left. He's across the 45, the 40, 35, 32 men left to beat. 20, 15, 10, 5, and he is reaching for the goal line. He doesn't quite get it. Stopped at the 1-yard line by the Seminoles, but Kentavious Robinson breaks off a big one, and he sets up his team inside the 10-yard line. 1st and goal now from the 2. Heck of a run that time by the sophomore tailback from Rivercrest. Robinson took that pitch, worked it up the middle, and then cut back here to the near side of the field. He only had 2 men left to outrun, and he just ran out of gas as he got inside the 10-yard line. Seminoles will line up again with 11 in the box. Could see play action here, but if it ain't broke, don't fix it. They'll hand it off up the middle. And did he cross the goal line? Jamaica Franks got the handoff, and it appears that the Seminoles stopped him a yard short. Franks did get a yard closer, however, and they'll bring up 2nd and goal now from the 1 instead of the 2. Franks will come out of the game. Preston Wilson checking back in. He scored the last time the Colts were down here on the 1-yard line. Wilson is lined up directly behind Kessler Pierce under center. Robinson is on the right side of this formation. Robinson gets the handoff, and he is met in the backfield, and I'm not even sure he got the handoff, but what an outstanding play on defense that time from Osceola's DeQuinton Littleton. Littleton had penetrated through that offensive line and was in the backfield, and as soon as Pierce handed that football off to Robinson, Robinson was on the grass. So that's going to bring up 3rd and goal now from the 5-yard line for the Colts. And they have yet to pass it yet, so keep an eye out for that play action. They have stuck it on the ground so far here in the first quarter. Man goes in motion. They fake the handoff. Here's the play action. Looking in the end zone. Pierce spun around. He might have fumbled, but he was absolutely broken in half that time by one of the Seminole defenders. Stevion Fowler, and Pierce is down. He has not moved yet. He is finally getting up to his knees slowly, and he, without a doubt, got his bell rung. And there is a Osceola defender without his helmet on. I think they're going to say that it came off in play, and of course he'll have to come off the field. He looked like he was amped up about that. And why not? Fowler just absolutely waylaid Pierce in the backfield. Pierce was lucky to hang on to that football, and now ball marked at the 20-yard line here on 4th and goal. The Colts are going to attempt a very long field goal here. About 35 yards out, the kick is up, and it's through the uprights good. That field goal by Mateo Chirinos will make it 10-0 with 1:47 left to play here in the first quarter. We'll step aside and come back with more first quarter action here from Osceola right after.
Update your style with Days Clothing in downtown Blythe. Days has all the brands you love. Casual or formal, Days has a style that will fit you perfectly. Days Clothing is also your local gym's formal wear provider. Update your wardrobe with a new style from Days Clothing today. Days Clothing, 322 West Main in historic downtown Blythe.
Andy Manus back here with you at Seminoles Stadium. 1:47 left to play in the first quarter, and the Colts lead this one 10-0 over their hometown rival, the Osceola Seminoles. I say hometown, they're only separated by about 12 miles of highway. The kickoff botch taken back to about the 15, and they'll trip up the return man at about the 16-yard line, and that's Talon Gavin on the return there, who again muffed that one and was able to pick it up and
16-yard line.
really didn't make much out of that, but at least his team held on to the football. Now they'll start their drive from the 15.5-yard line, and they've got a long field to go, trailing by 10 early on here in the football game. Had to punt it away their first time out on the field. And again, they have really had some offensive struggles their last 2 weeks, being shut out. The week before that, 3 weeks ago, they were in a shootout with Hoxie. This time a first down run for Gavin on the far side of the field. He'll get down to about the 17-yard line, picked up maybe a yard.
Number 1, Gavin on the carry.
And it'll bring up 2nd and 8. They'll give him 2 out on the field. But again, the game with Hoxie 3 weeks ago, a shootout at Hoxie. That final score was 52-42, and Osceola just losing that one by 8 points. Very close game, that one, but couldn't pull it out. That would have been their 3rd win in a row, and now instead they've dropped 3 in a row. Second down play, a little double handoff here, working back to the near side of the field. He's at the 15, the 20, tried to dodge a defender, and he's knocked out of bounds at about the 24-yard line. And I believe that was Traylon Woodson on the carry that time for the Seminoles. He got very near the first down marker, had to make it to the 26, but he'll get stopped at about the 24. So now 3rd and short coming up. Three men in the backfield. They might have drawn the Colts off sides, and they did. The hard count will pick up a first down for the Seminoles. That comes with 16 seconds left to play here in the first quarter. They'll have time for one more play. Moves the chains out to the 29-yard line of Osceola. Rivercrest looks like they're only going to bring 3 down linemen here, but they might bring pressure from the edges. No, they're going to bring 4.
And that's the end of the first quarter.
And they're not going to run another play here in the first quarter. That will be it. We'll switch ends of the field and come back and do it again in the second quarter. The Seminoles will have the ball at their own 34-yard line. And they'll have it when we come back after this. You're watching High School Sports on Tubetown.
Whether it's a night out on the town or a special occasion, visit Bistro 1121 in Blytheville. Live music on Tuesday, prime rib special on Friday. Bistro 1121 on East Main in Blytheville. Perkins Restaurant and Family Bakery in Blytheville, newly renovated and open 5:30 a.m. until 11 p.m. daily. Stop by for any meal, anytime, or take home delicious sweets from our bakery. Perkins Restaurant and Family Bakery in Blytheville.
Andy Manus back here with you at Seminole Stadium to start the second quarter of action between Osceola and Rivercrest. The Seminoles trail by 10. And they have possession of the football as we get set to start the second quarter here. Touchdown and a field goal in the first quarter for the Colts. A 1-yard touchdown run from Preston Wilson. They had the ball on the 1-yard line again on their second possession, did Rivercrest, and they could not punch it into the end zone. A sack on Kessler Pearson. He got his bell rung rather on that sack, and backed him up to the 20-yard line. They had to settle for a field goal, a long field goal by Mateo Chirinos through the uprights, and that's where we're at now, 10-0. Here, 1st and 10 as the Seminoles get set to start the second quarter. A handoff up the middle is originally designed to start out on the left side, and The running back had to cut back up to the middle of the field. He's going to pick up about 7 yards on the carry. Traylon Woodson on the carry, the senior tailback for Osceola.
7-yard gain.
Will make it 2nd and 3. As good as Rivercrest is, and as good as they are on offense, they're giving up nearly as many points as they're scoring on average a night. They score 26.4 a night. They give up a little over 24 a night. Second down run rather across the 40-yard line. Very near the 45-yard line, but first down yardage and more for the Osceola Seminoles. Taylon Gavin on the carry that time, the junior tailback for Osceola. Taking this one to the right side and again picking up some hefty yards on the ground. Osceola slow to get to the line of scrimmage here. 13 seconds left on the play clock. They're going to spread it out a little bit here this time, it looks like, though. 2 wide receivers for Fly. Fly's going to hand it off right up the middle, though. Big running back stopped at the 45-yard line. Robert White will pick up about 2 yards on the carry.
Number 2, Robert White on the carry.
And that is a big tailback in the backfield for Osceola. He's just as tall, if not taller, than some of those guys standing on the offensive line. It's a lot of momentum running with a full head of steam out of that backfield. So now 2nd and 8 coming up for the Seminoles. Fly looking to throw. Now he's flushed out to the near side. He's pointing out a blocker. He's going to be taken out of bounds by Kentavious Robinson. Robinson rode him down at about the 46-yard line, but he was able to pick up a couple extra yards after that, and he's down at the Rivercrest 48. Picks up about 5 yards, and that'll make it 3rd and manageable for Osceola.
Timeout, Seminole. First charge, timeout, first half.
10:27 left to play here in the first half. And your score is 10-0. Osceola trailing here. And they called a timeout on the field. 2 timeouts remaining here for both teams. We're going to take a timeout with them with 10:27 left to play here in the second quarter. Your score, 10-0, Rivercrest leading. Back here at Osceola Seminole Stadium, where the Seminoles have it 3rd and short. They're about to run a 3rd down play here to try to move the chains and get further into Rivercrest territory.
Give it up for the Osceola Seminole.
10:27 left to play here in the first half. Fly under center. He's got 2 wide receivers to look at. 4 down linemen coming for the Colts. Fly's going to keep it himself on the quarterback option. He didn't even turn around that time to try to hand it off. He just took it ahead himself. And he'll get across the 46-yard line down to the 45 for a first down.
Up for an Osceola Seminole. First down. 1st and 10, Seminoles at the 45-yard line.
1st and 10 coming up. Now inside 10 minutes, 30 seconds left to play. This place might erupt if the Seminoles find the end zone. Being shut out their last 2 weeks. 3 wide receivers, make that 4 wide receivers. They throw it out to the far side. And tackled in the backfield at about the 50-yard line is Taylon Gavin. Gavin looked like they wanted to go here to the near side. Gavin was lined up all by himself over there on the far side. They threw it over there to him, and there was nobody over there to block. He just gets tackled freely in the backfield. And that's going to bring up 2nd and long with 9:40 to play here in the first half. 4 down linemen, make that 3 down linemen for the Colts, but they look to bring pressure from the edges. 2 wide receivers set for Fly. He'll hand it off to Gavin. Gavin is across the 40-yard line down to the 35, knocked out of bounds on a excellent run there. He picks up first down yardage and more.
First down.
Moves it down to about the 33-yard line. And another Seminole first down. And now they've got some momentum working for them with 9:22 to play here in the first half. Again, just trying to find that end zone. And things might start moving in a positive direction for them. 2 wide receivers set for Fly as he's under center with 1 back in the backfield. 1 man lined up here on the right side of the formation. And they're going to stop this play before it gets started. And it's going to be a false start on the Seminoles. That'll back them up 5 yards, and that might start to hurt a little bit of their momentum there as we are now under 9:10 left to play in the first half.
Not what you want to do when you're already down 10-0, Andy.
Wes Cisco joining us now on our broadcast. We've had some technical difficulties all night long, and we're finally getting the kinks worked out here as we're in the second quarter. So 3 down linemen coming for the Colts, going to bring pressure from the edges. 2 wide receivers set for Fly. He's got tight ends to throw to as well. Man goes in motion. They're going to hand it off to him across the 40-yard line, but not much further than that as Traylon Woodson is going to be tripped up in the backfield, and now it's going to be second and long. And Wes, it's been kind of hit or miss so far for this Osceola offense tonight.
Exactly, and you got to give credit to the Rivercrest defense on that, Andy, because they're all staying with their assignments, and just like that time, it was just a short game for the Seminoles.
So now it's going to bring up second and long. And you might see the Colts bring pressure here to try to flush Fly out of that pocket in the backfield. 3 wide receivers for Fly. He'll stay under center. Back in the backfield, and the back to his left. Gavin's going to go in motion. He'll get the pitch, working to the right. He's going to run into trouble at the 45-yard line, taken
we're
down.
We're going to have a face mask.
Flag comes flying out right there at the end of that run, and as Wes just mentioned, Bruce Parker tackled Taylon Gavin by his face mask, and that's going to be 15 yards.
It will not be enough for the first down.
So that should spot the ball at about the 25, if I'm not mistaken. 7:53 to play here in the first half.
And what looked like to me, Andy, the way the official signaled this in, that's the unintentional face mask, only the 5-yard penalty. So the 5 yards they lost, they just put it right back, so still second and 17.
So now shotgun formation coming for Osceola, 4 wide receivers for Fly. Fly's going to zip it down the middle to the right hash mark, and it'll bounce at about the 15-yard line, incomplete. Trying to find Traylon Woodson here on the right side of the field, and it looks like he just tossed it a little bit farther than Woodson was going to run.
That also, and Bruce Parker and Robert Banks were both on double coverage for the Colts.
It looked like Woodson had a step on both of his men, but again, it was just an overthrown ball by Fly. Woodson, and actually looked like Woodson might have pulled up a little bit short at the end of that route. Didn't look like he was going to quite run it out. He might have seen that it was too far over him. So 3rd and long coming up here, and here comes the Colt defense. They're bringing everybody close. They're going to bring pressure here. Fake the handoff up the middle. They hand it off to the man on the end around, and he got stopped well before the line of scrimmage. Stevion Fowler in the backfield stopped for Osceola, and that will bring up 4th down. But they could be right here in no man's land.
And Preston Wilson just, again, stayed with his assignment. Wasn't fooled by the double there, and the tackle for loss again for the Colts.
And it does look like they're going to bring their punt team out onto the field. They don't want to try to go for it here on 4th and long. They'd have to get down to about the 24-yard line for a first down.
And they're at the 45.
So Traylon Woodson is out there getting ready to boot this one away. There's the snap. Rivercrest coming to block it. They don't get to it. It'll take a Seminole bounce at the 30 and roll down to about the 21-yard line, and that will be the worst starting field position for the Colts tonight. Both times they've started their offensive drives, they've started at their own 45-yard line. Now they're back near their own 20. The way we've seen them move the football so far tonight really won't seem to be a problem for Rivercrest.
No, they're wanting that number 1 seed, and with a win tonight, they do get the number 1 seed due to the tiebreaker with Newport.
That's right. They defeated Newport a few weeks back, so they will get the tiebreaker there. Final score of that game, 24-20. First down run here. Running to the left side of the field is Robinson. Robinson will pick up about 4 yards on first down there, bringing up 2nd and 6. Robinson played a little bit with this Colts team as a freshman. Now standing out here as a sophomore. 11 men in the box for the Seminoles. Pierce hands it off to Parker. Parker's at the 35-yard line, hit hard as he makes his way down to about the 38, but he's got first down yardage for the Rivercrest Colts. They're going to move the chains. It'll be 1st and 10 from the 38-yard line.
And just stick with your bread and butter, Andy. There's no reason to try to pass or do anything right now because Osceola cannot stop this Rivercrest run.
Same formation. Parker's going to go in motion. They'll hand it off to the man running to the left. Stretching for extra yardage are the Colts, and Parker was making his way to the right. I think that might have been Robinson on the carry, and I believe it was. So Robinson will pick up about 3 yards on the first down carry, making it 2nd and 7. Stable of backs in the backfield for Rivercrest. They've got Contavious Robinson, Preston Wilson. We've seen Jamaica Franks handle it a couple of times. Here is Parker carrying it on 2nd down. He's going to pick up about 4 more yards. That's going to bring up, looks to be about 2nd and 3, maybe 2nd and 2. Excuse me, 3rd and 2. Got my numbers backwards here.
Short down with Blade, bring up 3rd down and 2.
And Wes, with Rivercrest keeping it on the ball for the most part tonight, other than that one play where Kessler Pierce was sacked, they haven't tried to air it out, but they could be setting up play action because everybody is up close to the line for Osceola. They'll hand it off up the middle this time. They'll pick up a couple of more yards than needed. Had to get down to the 48. They get down to about the 50, maybe the 49 and a half. They're down into Seminole territory now.
But like you said, though, Osceola is stacking the box, but they still can't seem to stop the run. I mean, those big boys up front for the Colts are making some lanes.
They hurry to the line. Robinson goes in motion. He gets the pitch running to the left. Cuts it back up the middle across the Seminole logo at midfield, and he's down at about the 44-yard line, and he'll pick up about 7 from first down.
This is what Brett Bielema ball at Arkansas, that's what he likes to do right here. Run until they stop.
The offensive line will eventually start to wear down that defensive line. Of course, speaking of wear, you've got big Freddie Ware out there clogging some holes up. He's a senior for the Rivercrest Colts. He weighs in at over 400 pounds. Running to the right this time is, I believe that was Parker on the carry.
Looks like he lost one on that one, Andy.
Might have lost about half of yards. Stopped at about the 45-yard line of Osceola, bringing up 3rd and 5. But again, Freddie Ware standing in at 6'2", 402 pounds. He's big number 77. You can see him out there standing in the huddle, and I guarantee you he will pave a few paths on offense, and he'll clog a few holes on defense. 3rd down play coming up. Parker goes in motion. He gets the handoff and hands it back to Robinson. Robinson up the middle, and he will cross the 40-yard line. He'll get enough yardage for the first down and then some. Pick up about a couple extra. They're down to about the 38-yard line, and another first down as we're now inside 3:15 to play here in the first half. And Wes, this has been a very quick-moving football game. Both teams only having 2 possessions apiece. This is Rivercrest thirds.
Yeah, and Robinson also, Andy, while I was looking, he come off gingerly, and he just went to the sideline and lay down.
Well, it looked like when he was hit, he did seem to kind of go limp a little bit when he was hit. First down play, handed off up the middle. And Preston Wilson rather will pick up about 1.5 yards. And so something to keep an eye over there on is Contavious Robinson, as Wes mentioned. He did kind of leave the field a little bit gingerly. It looked like when he was hit, he had, it looked, I guess lethargic is the best way to put it when he was hit. It didn't look like he was hit up high, so you don't really worry too much about anything like a concussion in that situation, but hopefully he's all right.
It was lower, definitely lower, and the trainers are working on him over there on the Rivercrest sideline.
2nd and 9, Preston Wilson will take the handoff, working to the right side of the field. He'll get stopped on the right hash mark at about the 31-yard line. One referee is at the 31, the other's at the 30. I think they've got it evened out now. They're going to move them to the 30-yard line, about 2 yards shy of a first down. So that'll bring up 3rd and manageable for the Colts.
And if you are the Colts, if you do want to go play action, right here would be the great time to do it. 3rd and short, so you know you could probably get it on the 4th down.
Parker goes in motion. They'll pitch it to him, running to the left. He cuts back up the middle of the field. I believe he's got the first down by about 1 yard.
Yeah, that was a great call there by Coach Chandler.
And they might run this one down to the wire. Rivercrest did start tonight's football game with possession, so they could score here and go into the locker room up by at least 3 possessions. Up by 2 now, 10-0. Scored from the 1-yard line from Preston Wilson and had to kick a 37-yard field goal. Very impressive range from Mateo Chirinos at the high school level. Chirinos just a junior for the Colts. Jamaica Franks will go in motion. Pass over the middle, caught at the 15-yard line, at the 10, still on his feet, at the 5. Rumble, big man Rumble, still on his feet. And speak of the devil, Mateo Chirinos. Johnny on the spot, his ears were burning.
I tell you what, that was a great play action fake, just what we were talking about a while ago. And not because the Seminoles were rushing. It was a great pass to the tight end. 1st and goal for the Colts.
Seminoles have been lining up 11 men in the box all night. We wondered when we see that. They brought the whole house and they sent their tight end out on a streak pattern down the field, and it worked out for them. Now from the 1-yard line, 1st and goal inside of a minute. Hand off to the left. Pierce keeping it himself. Working to the left side of the field, and he'll get stopped shy of the line of scrimmage.
So you got 2 timeouts left. I was wondering if Rivercrest was going to call, and they called 1 there.
So now they have 1 timeout left here in the first half, and we'll take a timeout with them. 42 seconds remaining in the second quarter. Your score, 10-0, Rivercrest leading Osceola in the Mississippi County rivalry right here on Tubetown.
Farmers Bank and Trust offers instant image debit cards. Showcase your school spirit, your grandkids, your pet, or your favorite sport. Walk in, open an account, and walk out of the bank with an instant image debit card ready to use. Finally, a debit card as unique as you from Farmers Bank and Trust. Traditional banking at its best. Farmers Bank and Trust, with locations in Blytheville, Gosnell, and Manila. Member FDIC.
42 seconds remaining in the second quarter. Osceola trailing 10-0, but Rivercrest Colts are threatening. They have it 2nd and goal from about the 1.5-yard line. Big time catch and run from Mateo Chirinos a moment ago. Sets up the Colts inside the 10-yard line, and Kessler Pierce just tried to run it in himself, and he got stopped short. Actually lost about 0.5 yard, and with 42 seconds remaining, Coach Kelly Chandler wanted to call a timeout and stop the clock and talk some things over. Now here we go on 2nd and goal. Right up the gut, across the goal line, and another touchdown for the Rivercrest Colts.
It's just easy money there for the Colts there on that for that drive, and they didn't leave much time for the Seminoles here in the first half, even though Osceola will get the ball and start the second half.
And I believe that was Jamaica Franks taking it up the middle that time and into the end zone. So that's now 3 times in 3 possessions that the Colts have had the ball on the 1-yard line. They've scored on 2 of those possessions. Chirinos will come out onto the field, getting set to kick his extra point. Kick attempt is up, and it's through the uprights. Good. Your scores, we get set to end the second quarter, 17-0 with 38 seconds left. Rivercrest leading Osceola.
Hit your target this hunting season with M&D Outfitters in Blytheville. M&D Outfitters is your source for boots, waders, headgear, hunting backpacks, and clothing from all the major lines. M&D also specializes in accessories for your weapon to help you shoot straight and bring home your limit. Before your big hunting trip, stop by M&D Outfitters on Main Street in Blytheville.
Andy Manus and West Cisco back here at Seminole Stadium with 38 seconds to play in the first half. 17-0 is your score. The Rivercrest Colts have shut out the Seminoles here in the first half, and Osceola's got very little time left to work with before they head into the locker room. Shut out 2 weeks in a row, trying to keep it from being a 3rd week in a row to end the regular season. This kickoff taken inside the 10-yard line, across the 15, out to the 20, and just shy of the 25-yard line is where the Osceola Seminoles will come back out on offense.
Kick return by number 3.
First 2 drives tonight have resulted in punts. They haven't been 3 and outs, so that is something, a bit of a bright spot for Osceola. It's not like they're just going out there and sending their defense right back out onto the field. They're at least running more than a handful of plays before they're having to punt it away. I believe both times that they've punted, they've actually been into, or excuse me, 1 out of the 2 times that they've punted, they've been into Rivercrest Colt territory.
They were in Rivercrest, and the second one was close to Rivercrest territory.
Very near midfield.
I don't know. I may just, run the clock out because I don't think that they have anything to go 75, 76 yards.
4 men backed up deep for the Colts trying to guard against the deep pass. They're going to hand it off to Taylor and Gavin gets blindsided as he crosses the 25-yard line. A big hit that time from Oscar Rios. Rios just laying the lumber, and Gavin's a little bit slow getting up here. He had to get some help from a teammate. Now he's slowly walking back to the huddle. That was a big-time hit from the Colts, and now 7 seconds left, 6 seconds left. They are going to let the clock run out here. They just ran 1 play, and they'll head to the locker room to talk things over, try to figure out how they're going to cross the goal line, find pay dirt here on senior night at Seminole Stadium. 17-0 is your score at the halftime break. The Rivercrest Colts lead the Mississippi County rivalry after 2 quarters. We're back with some halftime stats for you after this.
Marching Colts.
We are more than daily transactions. We are more than checks and debit cards. We are more than farmland. For the people of Poinsett County, we are more than just a bank. At First Delta Bank, we see the world through the eyes of our customers because we know that our customers are our most valuable investment. We are proud of who we are and want to earn your banking business. We are First Delta Bank, equal housing lender, member FDIC.
Buda Baker takes it on his 30. Watch this guy run in the open field, and nobody's going to catch him. Buda Baker, 70 yards to the house. Bellevue on top first.
Kaiser LP Gas Company is a family-owned propane company serving residential, commercial, and agricultural customers in Craighead, Crittenden, Poinsett, and Mississippi counties in northeast Arkansas. Located on Highway 181 South in Kaiser, Arkansas, Kaiser LP Gas can fill all of your propane needs, whether it's for farm equipment, your home, or business. Kaiser LP Gas has you covered. Call today at 870-526-2198.
Whether it's a night out on the town or a special occasion, visit Bistro 1121 in Blytheville. Live music on Tuesday, prime rib special on Friday. Bistro 1121 on East Main in Blytheville. Perkins Restaurant and Family Bakery in Blytheville, newly renovated and open 5:30 a.m. until 11 p.m. daily. Stop by for any meal, anytime, or take home delicious sweets from our bakery. Perkins Restaurant and Family Bakery in Blytheville.
Update your style with Days Clothing in downtown Blytheville. Days has all the brands you love. Casual or formal, Days has a style that will fit you perfectly. Days Clothing is also your local gym's formal wear provider. Update your wardrobe with a new style from Days Clothing today. Days Clothing, 322 West Main in historic downtown Blytheville.
Okay, listen up. You might have a job or you might not. But ask yourself, is this what I really want to do for a living? Maybe it's time to change your career. Make a better life for you and your family. ASU Newport's welding program can give you a new career that pays more than your old job. And if you qualify, you can learn to weld for free. That's right, free, not one red cent. So, what are you waiting for? Call now to see if you qualify for the free welding program at ASU Newport in Jonesboro.
Hit your target this hunting season with M&D Outfitters in Blytheville. M&D Outfitters is your source for boots, waders, headgear, hunting backpacks, and clothing from all the major lines. M&D also specializes in accessories for your weapon to help you shoot straight and bring home your limit. Before your big hunting trip, stop by M&D Outfitters on Main Street in Blytheville.
Farmers Bank and Trust offers instant image debit cards. Showcase your school spirit, your grandkids, your pet, or your favorite sport. Walk in, open an account, and walk out of the bank with an instant image debit card ready to use. Finally, a debit card as unique as you from Farmers Bank and Trust. Traditional banking at its best. Farmers Bank and Trust, with locations in Blytheville, Gosnell, and Manila. Member FDIC.
Andy Manus and Wes Cisco back here with you at Seminole Stadium. 17-0 is your score. The Rivercrest Colts leading the Osceola Seminoles. And we appreciate you joining us tonight as we're at halftime. We've had some technical difficulties tonight, and I'm a little bit excited right now because we have, as I knock on wood, hopefully got most of these kinks worked out now. And hopefully in store for us is a much more eventful second half as Rivercrest has literally ran away with this one tonight. 2 rushing touchdowns and a long field goal for them. And again, they lead this one 17-0.
Well, and again, they are playing for first place. If they win tonight, they win the 3A3 East tournament, or 3A3 East conference, and they will host the Barton Bears next week. If they lose, they could go all the way down to the number 3 seed, depending on what happens with the Newport-Manila game.
Yeah, Rivercrest has obviously won their last 4 times out, and as you said, they're vying for that number 1 seed tonight. They want to host that home playoff game. They want to make it back to that state championship game, as they've been there so many times in the last handful of years. And, making it there again last year and coming up just short. They definitely want to make it back this year. And their team is you don't ever want to look at Rivercrest and say, well, this team's not as talented as the one last year. You can hardly ever say that, because they are constantly, I don't know what's in the water here in Mississippi County, but they're constantly churning out athletes left and right. And the same can be said for the Osceola Seminoles. Unfortunately, it's just a down year for them.
Yeah, it's just, a down year, like you said, 2-7 on the year, 2-4. They're trying to play the role of the spoiler against the Colts here, because Piggott won last night, 55-14, big win over Corning. So Rivercrest loss would put Piggott into the number 2 seed and would move Newport up to the number 1 seed because of the way the season worked out if everybody goes 5-2.
And it's just wild to think about Rivercrest being at the top right now. With a loss tonight, can drop all the way down to the number 3 seed, which we've seen it be crazier before. Yeah. We've seen someone be at the top, and with a loss they could drop down to the number 4 or number 5 seed. So it's very interesting to look at all these standings around the 3A3 right now, as we're taking a look at some of the replays from the first half. It's just, again, it's been nothing but Rivercrest here through the first 2 quarters. They scored on their first drive of the night with a 1-yard touchdown rush from Preston Wilson. Their next drive, they got all the way down to the 1-yard line again before they were pushed backwards by a sack on Kessler Pearson. We're glad to see he's okay, because he got hit pretty hard on that sack, kind of got tackled at a very awkward angle, but the Colts capped that drive off with a 37-yard field goal from Mateo Chirinos. Chirinos would set up the Colts for their next touchdown on their next offensive drive. He'd catch a pass and take it down to the 1-yard line. So 3 drives for the Colts here in the first half, and all 3 drives have gotten down to at least the 1-yard line. 2 of those drives they've gotten the end zone.
Yeah, and the other one they did score the field goal after getting that big sack. We got some scores here, Andy, if you want to go over those right quick. In the battle for 3rd place in the 4A3, Truman is over Highland at Highland 34-7.
Wow, that is surprising. But with what we saw out of Cade Gartman and the Wildcats last week, I shouldn't say surprising, probably not the correct word.
Well, Cartman had a 5-yard touchdown to make it the 34. Pocahontas is leading Westside right now 13-0. Basil's got a 10-0 lead over Valley View.
That's a big game tonight.
Another big game for 3rd and 4th place in the 5A East. Forest City is leading Blytheville 16-8.
Of course, Forest City getting beat down by Wynn last week. A lot of people thought that game would be closer than it was, and it was double digits. So again, the Yellow Jackets, showing that they belong at the top of that 5A East Conference, and you've got a score for them as well.
I got them. They're at Nettleton tonight, and it's 28-0 Yellow Jackets over the Raiders right now. And Paragould, Greene County Tech, the battle for the bells, all tied up at 7.
And that one ought to be a pretty fun one to be at as well. Anytime those 2 teams get together on whatever, it's kind of like these 2 teams between Osceola and Rivercrest. Anytime that those 2 teams play each other, 1, you're going to have a packed house, and 2, you're going to get a pretty good game out of both squads. So.
Now, in that 4A3, Gosnell has clinched the number 1 seed out of people in our viewing area. Pocahontas has clinched the number 2 seed. They're going to host Gravett next week. And again, Highland Truman are playing for the number 3 and number 4. And Westside has clinched the number 5 seed. They are going on the road to play the Warren Lumberjacks next week.
So, man, just the playoffs are shaping up to be very interesting this year, especially between, obviously, we've talked about the 5A, the 4A, we've talked about the 3A, but, man, you want to talk about convoluted, get down to the 2A.
The 2A, we got Earl defeated EPC last night, 26-0. And Mark Tree and Cross County are playing tonight. Now, you have to get a score on that one. If anyone's got a score, go ahead and tweet us at Tubetown. We would love to get a tweet on that. So right now, Earl is sitting at 5-1, EPC at 4-2. Cross County's at 4-1, Mark Tree's at 3-2. So and Salem will be the 5th seed at 3-3. Here's how it could go. If Cross County loses, Earl gets the number 1 seed.
The Osceola Seminole marching band
And then
the band is made up of
the number 2 seed will go to Cross County. I'm sorry, will go to EBC. And the 3 seed will be
the drum majors are Wesley Harris and Jonisha
Mark Tree with the 4. So the 4 seed would be Cross County. If Cross County wins, they will be the number 1 seed. Earl will be 2. EPC will be 3, and Mark Tree will be 4. So the Cross County Thunderbirds with a win are the number 1 seed. If they lose, they drop all the way down to the number 4 seed.
See, just as I talked about a while ago, you know, it's crazy to think that we get down to the final game of the year, and obviously a lot of this has not been sorted out yet because you've got teams that have beaten each other but still have the same records, and you know, you have to start getting into point differentials and all that. It's a lot of math. You almost need an abacus and a protractor and maybe some graph paper to start working things out. And that's what that's what you had to do to prepare for tonight's game.
Oh, it was some major goings on when I was looking at this, because you could go, like I said, you could go from hosting a game to being on the road. And let's see, the 4th from the 3 would have to travel to Mountainburg, all the way in northwest Arkansas.
I'm not even sure where that's at. We're going to look it up on a map here as we get set to step aside during halftime here. 17-0 is your score. Rivercrest leading Osceola after the first 2 quarters. We'll come back and continue this halftime segment after this on Tube 10.
We are more than daily transactions. We are more than checks and debit cards. We are more than farmland. For the people of Poinsett County, we are more than just a bank. At First Delta Bank, we see the world through the eyes of our customers, because we know that our customers are our most valuable investment. We are proud of who we are and want to earn your banking business. We are First Delta Bank, equal housing lender, member FDIC.
Takes it on his 30. Watch this guy run in the open field, and nobody's going to catch him. Buda Baker, 70 yards to the house. Bellevue on top first.
Kaiser LP Gas Company is a family-owned propane company serving residential, commercial, and agricultural customers in Craighead, Crittenden, Poinsett, and Mississippi counties in northeast Arkansas. Located on Highway 181 South in Kaiser, Arkansas, Kaiser LP Gas can fill all of your propane needs, whether it's for farm equipment, your home, or business. Kaiser LP Gas has you covered. Call today at 870-526-2198.
Whether it's a night out on the town or a special occasion, visit Bistro 1121 in Blytheville. Live music on Tuesday, prime rib special on Friday. Bistro 1121 on East Main in Blytheville. Perkins Restaurant and Family Bakery in Blytheville, newly renovated and open 5:30 a.m. until 11 p.m. daily. Stop by for any meal, anytime, or take home delicious sweets from our bakery. Perkins Restaurant and Family Bakery in Blytheville.
Update your style with Days Clothing in downtown Blytheville. Days has all the brands you love. Casual or formal, Days has a style that will fit you perfectly. Days Clothing is also your local gym's formal wear provider. Update your wardrobe with a new style from Dave's Clothing today. Dave's Clothing, 322 West Main in historic downtown Blytheville.
Okay, listen up. You might have a job or you might not. But ask yourself, is this what I really want to do for a living? Maybe it's time to change your career. Make a better life for you and your family. ASU Newport's welding program can give you a new career that pays more than your old job. And if you qualify, you can learn to weld for free. That's right, free, not 1 red cent. So, what are you waiting for? Call now to see if you qualify for the free welding program at ASU Newport in Jonesboro.
Hit your target this hunting season with M&D Outfitters in Blytheville. M&D Outfitters is your source for boots, waders, headgear, hunting backpacks, and clothing from all the major lines. M&D also specializes in accessories for your weapon to help you shoot straight and bring home your limit. Before your big hunting trip, stop by M&D Outfitters on Main Street in Blytheville.
Farmers Bank and Trust offers instant image debit cards. Showcase your school spirit, your grandkids, your pet, or your favorite sport. Walk in, open an account, and walk out of the bank with an instant image debit card ready to use. Finally, a debit card as unique as you from Farmers Bank and Trust. Traditional banking at its best. Farmers Bank and Trust, with locations in Blytheville, Gosnell, and Manila. Member FDIC.
Andy Manus and West Cisco back here with you at Seminole Stadium, where it is 17-0 after the first 2 quarters. The Rivercrest Colts leading the Seminoles in this Mississippi County rivalry in 2016. And West, so far it's been all Rivercrest Colts. Look to see them continue the run game in the second half. Meanwhile, Osceola's just trying to really find the end zone. They've been shut out through their last now 2.5 games. They're trying to not end their season on a low note. They at least want to put up 6 points on the scoreboard before we get out of here tonight.
Yeah, that would definitely, for a leg up for next year, you need to, at least score some points, get some points on the board here tonight, preferably in the end zone. I don't know what their kicker is like this year, so.
Just to give you some more scores around the area we talked about, Truman is defeating Highland the last time we checked in the second quarter, 34-7. It appears Pokey is still over Westside 13-0. Batesville leading Valley View 10-0. And this is an updated score. Blytheville now leading Forest City 28-14 via D'Amico Clark touchdown run with 3:36 left to play in the second quarter. So the Chickasaws taking the lead over the Mustangs there. And that is a pretty important little matchup there in the 5A East. And sticking with the 5A East, Wynn is leading Nettleton 28-0. And then the showdown between Tech and Paragould is all knotted up at 7.
And again, all this with playoff implications on not only in the 3-3A, but we have Truman and Highland over in the 4-3A playing for 3rd and 4th place. We know Gosnell's got the number 1 seed out of that. We know Pokey's got the number 2 seed. Tonight, depending if Rivercrest holds this off, they'll be the number 1 seed in the 3-3 from the 3-3A. So, and again, the 2-3A, or the 2A3, excuse me, that's going to have to wonder about everything that's going to happen tonight.
Yep, a lot to keep up with and a lot to rehash as we continue on throughout our evening. We're going to go ahead and step aside for one more quick break during halftime. When we come back, we'll have the 3rd quarter kickoff for you from Seminole Stadium right after this.
Just got to update.
We are more than daily transactions. We are more than checks and debit cards. We are more than farmland. For the people of Poinsett County, we are more than just a bank. At First Delta Bank, we see the world through the eyes of our customers because we know that our customers are our most valuable investment. We are proud of who we are and want to earn your banking business. We are First Delta Bank, equal housing lender, member FDIC.
Andy Manis and West Cisco back here with you as we get set to start the third quarter of play. Kessler Pierce and a couple of Osceola Seminoles meeting out on the field right now to talk about the set for the second half of action. DeQuinton Littleton and Noah Smith, the two Seminoles standing out there at midfield. Again, Rivercrest started off tonight's game with possession of the football, so that means the Seminoles are going to get it first to start the second half. And West, we've talked about it all throughout tonight. They're just trying to find the end zone.
Yeah, and, you know, they're going to have to start off fast here in this second half to catch up to the Colts, because you know what the Colts are going to do. They're going to run it, and they're going to run time off the clock from now on. They've got a lead, and that's how they protect it.
Well, and we talked about during the halftime break, this has been a very quick-moving game. I mean, a lot of times you're a good hour, a little over an hour, close to an hour and a half by the time you get to halftime, and we're already halfway through this game, and we've only been here just a little over an hour.
Just an hour, yeah, about an hour and 10 minutes ago was the first kickoff, and we were already not only at halftime, but past it and ready to kick off second half.
And you can, as Wes said, you can bet that this second half will move very quickly if Coach Kelly Chandler has anything to say about it, because we haven't seen them stray from the run very much at all tonight. We see Kessler Pierce over there on the far sideline playing catch with Preston Wilson and just trying to stay loose. The temperature has dropped a little bit from what it was at kickoff. I would imagine it was right about 68, 70 degrees at kickoff, and it has since gotten a little bit chillier since the sun went down. The wind is blowing just a little bit, and
I'm showing 62 degrees.
Yeah, it has gotten a little bit chillier. Of course, one player that we are keeping an eye out for is Contavious Robinson. Robinson went down, if you remember, I should say walked off a little gingerly off the field in the second quarter. So we're going to see if we see him come back out, and hopefully he is okay. Of course, he's one of the players that plays both ways for the Colts, as a lot of these players do. A lot of the starters playing both on offense and defense, so he's certainly done his part through the first two quarters on both sides of the ball. And there's Robinson, and you can see him. He's walking a little bit gingerly, it looks like, on that right leg.
And, you know, in the playoffs next week, as long as they hold this lead, I would not put Robinson back in the game.
I completely agree. They will most likely hold him out. We might have seen the last of the sophomore Contavious Robinson for the Colts tonight. Both teams on the field, ready to start the third quarter of action. Chirinos will kick this one off all the way back to the 10-yard line. It'll take a bounce to the 5 and go out of the back of the end zone for a touchback. Oh, how about that? You do not see that happen in high school football very often, but Mateo Chirinos just did it.
Woodson was looking like he was going to try to let that, see if it go out of bounds and get the ball at the 35. Instead, it went in for the touchback, and they'll start at 1st and 10 at the 20.
I've been extremely impressed with Chirinos tonight. I mean, we've already seen him kick through 2 extra points, and that were through without a doubt. And then the 37-yard field goal back in the first quarter. That one, I mean, it was perfect. I mean, as soon as it left his foot, you knew it was going through the uprights without a doubt. So very impressed with what we've seen out of him tonight.
But not only that, but the pitch and catch when he was in the tight end position.
As well, showing he's got soft hands as well. First play, handoff, working to the right. Now taken down in the backfield is Traylon Woodson. Excuse me. That was Traylon Woodson. And then number 4 for Rivercrest making the tackle, who's not on our roster. Trying to find him again, but a lot of times they do move up some of these freshman players to play on one of the final games of the year, just so they can get a little bit more experience. Or we could have had a player have a jersey mishap.
Yeah,
We've seen that
never
happen before. Second and long here. Fly pass over the middle, caught, and the defender makes the stick right at the 20-yard line, but back to the original line of scrimmage and a yard further. That'll bring up 3rd and about 9. A nice little play there on second down as Stevion Fowler makes the reception from the tight end position.
That's a good pickup. because after they lost 5 on the first play, now they're back into, it's still 3rd and long, but it's 3rd and 8 now.
So just on the other side of their own 20-yard line, as Wes said, 3rd and 8 coming up. 3 backs in the backfield for Fly, 2 wide receivers. They're going to pitch it out, running to the right for Taylon Gavin. Gavin will be hit pretty hard as he gets close to his own sideline by Preston Wilson. And they're going to be well short of a first down, and Gavin actually very slow to get up that time, as you see a big hit that time. And actually, Preston Wilson was right there near it, but it was Robert Banks who actually upended Taylon Gavin.
And if you notice, Banks the whole time kept his eye on Gavin. He didn't get fooled by any of the misdirection or anything. So it'll be 4th down. And looks like
they're going to punt it away here.
White's going to punt.
Pretty good kick that time from his own 15-yard line. And Rivercrest might have touched that one. They did. Osceola picks it up. They've got a clear path to the end zone. 5. Touchdown.
Play taken to the end zone by number 64, DeQuinton Littleton. Touchdown, Seminoles.
That was DeQuinton Littleton who picked that ball up, and you'll see it takes a bounce right here and hits Robert Banks, I believe. No, it actually
hit Banks. The only one I could think of that could hit would be that number 4.
Number
that
4
who's
not listed, and DeQuinton Littleton just picks it up. He understands that the whistle wasn't blown, and he just takes it into the end zone. Just like that, we've got ourselves a potential 2-possession ball game, and actually now we've got some discussion out on the field.
Coach Chandler's like, that should have been a down ball. They're discussing it to see if it is a touchdown or not. And it looks like, no, it's going to be
Rivercrest Colt football.
Ball. It did not touch him, so that was a down ball.
They should have blown the whistle instead of let that play continue. The referee's a little bit of a gaffe there. If it was a down, if that was indeed the case, if it was touched first by an Osceola player, that would be the correct call. It would be down, but there's no way they should have let that play continue.
Retain possession, and we'll have the ball 1st and 10.
And so the Osceola defense will have to get out onto the field. They'll have to clear up some miscommunications.
No. Okay. No, they cannot return the ball. So it was touched by 4. The Osceola cannot return the ball on that punt, so it's 1st down Osceola after the recovery from Littleton.
That makes much more sense. Seminoles catching a big break there, now starting 1st and 10 on the Rivercrest side of the football field. Taylon Gavin bowls over a defender as he comes down the near sideline. He'll work his way down to about the 32, making it 2nd and very short. Big break that time for the Seminoles. That's exactly what they need to get back in this football game.
Yeah,
nice blocking ahead for
that's
Gavin.
what I was about to say there. It was Woodson with a big block there for Gavin.
So now 2nd and short coming up from the near hash mark. 2 wide receivers set for Fly. He's got 1 back in the backfield, 2 backs lined up at tight end on either side. 1 goes in motion. He hands it off up the middle. And a flag thrown as Robert White makes his way down to the 27-yard line.
There's a flag on the play.
And that one was thrown right where the tackle was made, but it came out before the tackle was made. So you think it's going to be holding, but Osceola is celebrating, so it's going to be a face mask. Personal foul against the Colts. So that'll move the chains. If the foul is from the spot of the foul, it looks like it was thrown at about the 26-yard line. So 10 yards from there will put them right at about the 16. And it looks like they're going to mark them at about the 14-yard line, though. So maybe my judgment depth perception, rather, is a little bit off from here. We are looking at the field at a bit of an angle.
And that time was the 15-yard. You saw the personal foul instead of the 5-yard.
Running to the left this time is Traylon Woodson. Woodson spun around. He'll have to reverse his direction. He's got blockers out ahead. 25-20, 15-yard line. 10 pushed out of bounds at the 8-yard line. But how about Traylon Woodson? He ran about 60 yards to pick up about 6.
But you got to watch it right here. I mean, he keeps his eye up. That was a good job staying out there. And then just some missed tackles by the Colts. And he's like, okay, boys. And there was a block there by Carl Miner. A good block that that freed him to go on to the right side of the field.
Good blocking that time by the Osceola offensive line, and Woodson will trot to the sideline with his hands on his hips. He's going to need a breather after that, no doubt. 3 backs in the backfield for Fly. Fly turns to his right, makes the handoff at the 5-yard line, and down to the 4 is Talon Gavin. And that should be enough to move the chains, and if so, it'll be first and goal inside the 5-yard line for Osceola. This is the furthest they've been into Rivercrest territory all night. First time in the red zone, and they're going to try to get in to the end zone.
And it's all due to the mishap and the turnover from the Colts. You know, any break that you can get if you're a Seminole, you're going to take. And right now, they've got a good job of punching this thing. You know, they got a good chance of punching this thing in.
Trailing 17-0, 4 minutes gone by here. Handoff to Woodson. Woodson bounces off. One defender still on his feet, stretching to the end zone. Did he get in?
No, they called him down. They called him. His knee was down before the ball hit the plane.
Woodson takes it inside the 1. Here's enough for a Seminole.
He gets down to about the 1-yard line, and watch him stretch here at the end of this. Stretching and
right there, his elbow was down before the ball crossed the plane is what they're saying. Of course, in high school, there's no, as you saw the ball when he come back out, it was underneath him. That was a good call by the official.
Very close to being a touchdown there from Osceola, but now they've got it first and goal at the 1-yard line. And everybody on the Colts defense packed in tight to the line. Handoff to Woodson. Woodson dodges one defender, crosses the goal line, he's into the end zone. Touchdown Seminoles. They have gotten the lid off of things finally for the first time in 3 weeks now. And Woodson is looking to the sky. You can tell he's just a little bit relieved he made it in.
And if you notice, all the Colts, they were looking for something going right up the middle, and Woodson took that over to the right side, and he was almost untouched.
Yeah, we got that stiff arm off in the backfield there, and then after that he was basically had a free path to the end zone. And now Osceola is on to attempt the extra point. Kick is up, and did he squeak that through? He did, just inside the left upright. That'll make it 17-7. Osceola trailing now by just 10 points as we take another look at the replay. And again, the Mississippi County rivalry here in the third quarter is now gotten a little bit closer here. 7:27 left to play in the third, and again, 17-7 is your score. Rivercrest still leading.
Kaiser LP Gas Company is a family-owned propane company serving residential, commercial, and agricultural customers in Craighead, Crittenden, Poinsett, and Mississippi counties in northeast Arkansas. Located on Highway 181 South in Kaiser, Arkansas, Kaiser LP Gas can fill all of your propane needs, whether it's for farm equipment, your home, or business. Kaiser LP Gas has you covered. Call today at 870-526-2198.
Cisco back here with you at Seminole Stadium. Osceola finding the scoreboard for the first time in 3 weeks. It is now 17-7. They capped off a mishap by the Rivercrest Colts. They touched a punt. Osceola was able to get on top of it, and capping it off with a 1-yard rush from Traylon Woodson. And now trailing by just 10 as they get set to kick it off back to the Colts. Colts will take this one at about the 20-yard line. Parker is across the 25. Make that the 30, and he is hit pretty hard as he gets down to about the 32-yard line by Traylon Woodson. So Woodson, that touchdown might have put a little bit of life and fire into this team.
And he come up jawing because you saw the umpire there telling him to let's not be doing that. You got a touchdown, you got a big hit, let's not jaw.
Yeah, you saw Carl Coleman for the Colts making his way off the field. He was turned around and had a few words to say to Woodson as Woodson said something to a host of Colts. But now the Colts offense out on the field, they're ready to go from their own 30-yard line. 1st and 10. Wilson goes in motion, working to the right side. He's going to get up a couple of yards and pushed backwards, making it 2nd and 8. Tyree Bass in on the stop for the Seminoles.
And now, like we talked about, it's just going to be a game clock. they're just going to let it tick as long as they can because it's already under 7 minutes. Here we go in the third.
Well, you read my mind. That's what I was just thinking. Now comes the stall game. Running it to the left with Parker. Parker's going to run into a group of Seminoles, a whole lot of purple over there on that left side of that offensive line, and a flag came flying out of the backfield as well. This one might be holding, as you see. Parker tried to cut back upfield there. He ran right into 4 purple jerseys. 5 come in there at the end of that.
No flag. They're calling it off.
No flag on the play.
So they will wipe off that penalty, whatever it might have been, and that'll bring up 3rd and long here. This is a situation that Rivercrest has not been in very much tonight.
No, the 1 or 2 times they have, they just went ahead and ate away at it and even converted on a couple of 4th downs.
They break the huddle. Jamaica Franks will be in the backfield here. They're going to hand it off to the right, and he is tripped up in the backfield. Big time hit that time from Braden Smith. He got in there and hit our unnamed Colt right there as he tried to make his move. Excellent tackle around the ankles.
So that's another loss. Looks like it's going to be about 4th and 10.
Rivercrest is going to bring their special teams unit out onto the field for the first time tonight to punt this one away. Mateo Chirinos is the up back here. And another Colt back deep to punt. Traylon Woodson is the Seminole back to return. High skying punt will take a bounce inside the 30-yard line, now down inside the 20, and it's going to continue to roll all the way down to the 15-yard line. Are you kidding me?
That was a perfect
punt.
high school punt.
That punt roll is dead. Back at the 16-yard line.
That punt went about 50 to 55 yards, if I'm not mistaken. They punted it back from all the way to their 30. If my math is right, that is one heck of a punt at the high school level. And not only did it have the distance, it had the height on it. There were already 3 return men back deep for the Colts to stop it there.
Yeah, that was just perfect punt coverage and a perfect punt by the Colts there.
They've got Osceola backed up to their own 15-yard line.
This kicking game for the Colts for a 3A school is phenomenal.
Very impressive. First down play for the Seminoles is going to be a handoff to the left side. Running between the left guard and left tackle is Robert White. And the junior tailback will pick up, actually he'll lose, it looks like maybe half a yard. Well, no, beg your pardon. They had the chains over there a little kinked up. Now they've got them straightened out. He did pick up a couple there. Should be 2nd and 8.
Not as kinked up as they were at Blytheville that night.
That's right. The game 1 of the first game of the year, we had our first down markers kink in the chain. They had to go out there and work it out. Thankfully, we don't have that on our hands tonight. 2nd down. Run to the left will be stopped in the backfield. And Preston Wilson, Jamaica Franks rather, in the backfield to stop that one. An excellent stop for a loss, bringing up 3rd down.
Franks was out there, but I'm not sure if Franks is the one that tripped him up or if he tripped on one of his offensive linemen.
Saw Preston Wilson over there in the area. He's been one of the standout players on defense for the Colts. And again, one of those players that plays both ways, along with Bruce Parker, who plays in at safety, who has outstanding in the secondary for the Colts. 2 wide receivers, 1 back in the backfield for Fly. Woodson goes in motion. Fly looking to throw here to the near side. Caught at the 20, but as soon as it was caught, they ran into trouble. Darian Gilmore makes the catch, and he goes nowhere as Robert Banks is right there to make the tackle.
Pass complete to number 11, Darian Gilmore.
There you see, he caught it, and as soon as he did, Banks was in his face mask.
Parker came over to help Banks go ahead and get him down. So it's going to be 4th and long here for the Seminoles. And
they're going to pray for a little bit of luck here like they had on their last punt.
I don't think that's going to happen because
nobody.
Rivercrest doesn't have anybody back.
Nope, they're coming for this one. They don't get to it. A short punt, though, but it'll take a Seminole bounce across midfield. This one might stop at the 45-yard line, and it will. Make that the 44. A pretty good punt in the face of pressure for the Seminoles. Look, they're bringing all 11 players here.
They did not, Coach Chandler did not want a repeat of what happened last drive on the punt from Osceola, so he didn't send anybody back this time.
Back-to-back punts from both teams. And now with 3:21 to play here in the third quarter, Rivercrest offense comes back onto the field to start things from their own 44-yard line.
And Andy, that last drive by Rivercrest was the first one they did not score on tonight.
First time they didn't even make it into the opposing territory, actually. This play from first down is going to get to midfield on the far hash mark. Jamaica Franks on the carry there, and that should bring us now inside 3 minutes before the next play. 2nd and 5 coming up.
I like the way that Rivercrest is sprinkling in some plays for the tight ends, not only on the pass that we saw earlier tonight, but just right then, that was another tight end on the carry.
Parker goes in motion, but they hand it off to Franks up the middle. Franks with a full head of steams across the 35-yard line down to the 32.
He took everybody from Osceola about 5 more extra yards.
Take another look at the Kaiser LP Gas replay. He gets the handoff. He's at the 45 to the 40, and he's got a convoy with him.
Look at that blocking by that big, massive offensive line.
Well, again, you've got Big Freddie Ware in there. We've mentioned him before, a senior for the Colts. He stands in at 6'2", 402. So he can definitely, you can hitch your wagon to him and just let him pave the way for you. Handoff here on first down to Parker. Parker nearly had the ball stripped out of his hands there. He stopped after a gain of about 2. Second and 8 coming up for the Colts.
Not only him, but Joseph Levin, number 74. He's a 5'10", 300-pound sophomore center.
I've got a handful of players over the 300-pound mark, and only 2 of them are seniors. So a lot of big boys who are still growing boys for the Rivercrest Colts as they again hand it off on second down. They'll pick up another few yards, and that should bring up, it looks like, 3rd and 6.
Number 40, Jamaica Franks on the carry.
And again, they're just running time.
Now inside 1:45 to play in the third. This is what they like to do best. Third down play coming up. Osceola bringing pressure. Pierce wants to look to the sideline to check down the play. Handed off up the middle again. This time they're driven backwards for a loss. A host of Seminoles in there on that tackle, leading the way to Quentin Littleton.
You had Littleton, you had Braden Smith, and you had Will Calvert all there to tackle for the Seminoles. And it brings on 4th down.
Well, when you think about it, that was the same play that they had run 2 times previously. They ran right up the gut with Franks 3 times in a row, and 3rd time the Seminoles weren't having it. 4th down here. Number 4 is going to get the carries across the 30-yard line. It'll be a turnover on downs for Rivercrest. They're going to give the ball back to the Seminoles, and I think, Wes, right now they're content with that. They're without Contavious Robinson, and is that a flag thrown down on the far side of the field? Oh, it's just a towel. I saw a towel be thrown down over there on the far sideline, and I thought it might have been someone jawing or some sort of personal foul. But again, Contavious Robinson is not in the game. We don't expect to see him back into the game. Right now, Rivercrest is just content to let their defense be out on the field as they haven't really surrendered much to Osceola tonight.
No, the only time they surrendered anything was off the special teams miscue.
38 seconds to play here in the third quarter. Handoff working to the right. And I believe that was Talon Gavin on the carry there. He'll pick up about 4 yards, bringing up 2nd down. Time for, I believe, one more play here in the third quarter with 22 seconds remaining on the game clock. They start the play clock running. They don't have to run another play if they don't want to, but why not, trailing by 10?
Exactly. You're down 10. You might as well get another play in.
Especially with a team like Rivercrest who likes to dominate time of possession. They are going to line up, try to get one more off. 5 seconds left. They hand it off running to the left, and they're going to pick up maybe a half yard, if that. That will be the final play of the third quarter. It looks like it'll go for a gain of maybe 2, and that will do it. So we are through 3 quarters, and we're headed to the fourth. 17-7 is your score here in the Mississippi County rivalry. Rivercrest over Osceola as we head to the fourth here on Tubetown.
Update your style with Days Clothing in downtown Blackman. Days has all the brands you love. Casual or formal, Days has a style that will fit you perfectly. Days Clothing is also your local gym's formal wear provider.
Manus and West Cisco back here with us. We get set to start the fourth quarter of action here in the Mississippi County rivalry. Rivercrest leading Osceola 17-0. Osceola's got the football right now. Whenever they come out of the huddle off the sideline, it'll be third and short. Osceola's lone touchdown came in the third quarter. They were able to capitalize off of a miscue on special teams by Rivercrest. Osceola punting the ball away, and a Rivercrest return man touched the ball. Osceola was able to grab it, and they were able to drive down the field to the 1-yard line and cap that drive off with a 1-yard touchdown rush from Traylon Woodson. And now they find themselves again here third and short to start the fourth quarter, trailing by 10. If they can put it in the end zone here on this drive, well, they can force Rivercrest to play a little less conservatively than they would like to, I would imagine.
Yeah, and they're going to have to try to get either Robinson back in or see if he can go, or play up some different stuff besides just up the middle.
Third and short here. The pitch out to the left for Talon Gavin will go for only a gain of about 1 yard, maybe 2. But either way, that will bring up fourth and short, as he had to get to the 39-yard line, and he didn't get there.
And Gavin's also taking a while to get up here. Looks like he is favoring his right leg or ankle.
And he has been slow to get up for the majority of tonight. And, you didn't know if that was because of fatigue. Again, a lot of players on both of these teams playing both ways, but it appears that he might actually be a little bit injured. He makes his way to the bench now, and he's going to have a seat. No one coming over to take a look at him. Fourth and short coming up for the Seminoles. They're going to go for it, and they got him.
Yeah, we're going to have an offsides.
The hard count draws the Colts offsides. It'll be a first down for the Osceola Seminoles.
And that's twice Kendarius Brooks has went offsides on a hard count for the Colts. You can tell he's a sophomore playing out there, 5'8", 250 defensive tackle.
Well, a lot of sophomores here for both of these teams, really. Still a lot of growing left to do. Now 1st and 10, pitch out to the left. Woodson avoided a big-time tackle in the backfield, and I bet he's glad that he slipped, because number 4 was making a beeline right for him.
That was just, I don't think he would have gotten any further than where he was at if he didn't slip.
Well, if he didn't slip, he would have been smoked. Number 4 bringing the lumber in the backfield there. Again, we do not have him on our roster. He could be one of the freshman players brought up to play in tonight's game from the Rivercrest Colts. Bringing everybody they got to the box close to the line here on 2nd and long. Fly running for his life, tosses it, caught at the 42-yard line. Upended, but a nice little gain there through the air as Fly was, again, he was running for his life out there.
Yeah, the pass is complete, but it's at the line of scrimmage. He might have got 1.5 yards or 2 yards is all he got on that play.
Actually, I believe that was Carl Miner under center that time for the Seminoles.
Actually, it was a little bit more. They end up giving him some more, so it's a 5-yard gain.
So Carl Miner actually in at quarterback right now.
And we got a timeout called by Osceola.
Seminoles will take their first here of the second half with 9:53 to play here in the fourth quarter. 17-7 is your score. We're going to take a quick timeout with them, and we'll be back with more action here in the fourth quarter from Seminole Stadium.
We are more than daily transactions. We are more than checks and debit cards. We are more than farmland. For the people of Poinsett County, we are more than just a bank. At First Delta Bank, we see the world through the eyes of our customers because we know that our customers are our most valuable investment. We are proud of who we are and want to earn your banking business. We are First Delta Bank, Equal Housing Lender, member FDIC.
Andy Manus and Wes Cisco back here with you at Seminole Stadium. 9:53 to play in tonight's ball game. The Mississippi County rivalry, separated just by 12 miles, are these two schools, and right now they're separated by 10 points on the scoreboard. 17-7, Rivercrest leading Osceola. Right now it's Seminole football. They just called their first timeout of the second half. They're going to have it 3rd and 10 from their own 42-yard line. Had it backed up to about the 35-yard line, maybe a bit further than that, and they were able to pick up some nice yardage on a pass just moments ago. Colby Woodson hauling in a reception and making his way down to the 42, and that's where they are now. It's Carl Miner under center. Miner looking to throw. Deep down the field to the near side, into coverage, and 3 Rivercrest Colts in the area, including Warren Thurman, and you can see Thurman pounding the turf as he tripped up over his own feet. He would have had a pretty good chance to pick that one off.
If you look here, under pressure was Miner, and Thurman with the dive, he didn't, that's what he did, was dove trying to catch it. Could not come, just run the reach from his fingertips.
Tried to turn around and put a play on it. Almost got an Odell Beckham hand on it. That will bring up 4th down, and now Osceola's going to have to punt. They need a little bit more luck to go their way here.
Bruce Parker is back to field the punt for the Colts this time.
They are going to put a return man back as they punt from their own 42. There's the snap. Pressure's on. A nice high kick from Osceola. Parker moves out of the way, and it bounces right into the arms of a Seminole, and he's now looking at his teammates telling him, I probably shouldn't have caught that. Probably should have let it keep rolling. And that's what he's telling that's what he's telling the coaches as he comes over here to the sideline. He said, I turned around and it was in my hands. Now he's getting a talking to from one of the players who's not dressed out. It's good to see the Seminoles just having a little bit of fun here tonight, regardless of the score. It is senior night, and I mean, that's why they're out there. I mean, you obviously always want to win a ball game, but it's good to see they're out there still having fun.
Exactly. That's what high school sports is all about. These are student athletes, not athletic students.
A lot of pressure coming to the line for the Seminoles. They're going to pitch it out to the right. Is that number 4 who's on it? He's at the 40, the 45, 50, 45, 40. Down the near sideline, 20, 15, 10. Brought down from behind, and a horse collar tackle at the 5-yard line. Colby Woodson reaching inside the shoulder pads of number 4 there and bringing him down from behind. And you can see he's coming up holding the back of his left hamstring there.
Yeah.
But an excellent run.
Excellent run there by number 4. And again, we don't have his name. And if you look, Woodson comes and he does the horse collar, but even though it's a penalty, he saved a touchdown there for the Seminoles.
Close to a 70-yard run that time on the ground for our unnamed player.
And that personal foul goes half the distance, so it'll be 1st and goal from the 3.
Seminoles packing the line again. Parker goes in motion, handoff up the middle to Jamaica Franks, and Franks fighting for that extra yardage, and he's going to cross the goal line. Signal comes in from the far side official, and 6 more points on the board for the Seminoles. A little good sportsmanship there as he helps up the defender as well, but you can see he got hit at about the 2, kept those feet churning, and he leans forward with a little bit of help from big 77 Freddie Ware, and he's into the end zone.
And that's 3 times we've seen great plays made by the Colt tight ends tonight.
So Mateo Chirinos will come on to attempt the extra point. He's 2 for 2 already tonight, and a field goal to boot as well from 37 yards out.
There's only 7 on the play clock, Andy.
5 seconds left on the play clock. They get the snap off. Kick is up. And again, Chirinos kicks it through. No problem, no sweat. And it is now 24-7 with 9:11 left to play here in the fourth quarter. It's the Mississippi County rivalry on Tube 10. Andy Manus and Wes Cisco back here with you at Seminole Stadium, where there's 9:11 left to play in the Mississippi County rivalry. Rivercrest Colts capping off a big drive that time with Jamaica Franks, a 3-yard rush into the end zone. Chirinos comes on to get the extra point, and they lead this one 24-7. And Seminoles' road gets a little bit longer to try to make an epic comeback here. They have found the end zone for the first time in 3 weeks, so you know they're happy about that. Short kickoff taken at the 35-yard line and down to the 42. And the Seminoles will come back out on offense. Again, shut out their last 2 weeks, and now they find the end zone here against Rivercrest back in the third quarter, capitalizing off of a special teams miscue by the Colts. They're going to try to make something happen on offense. They really have not been able to get much going on offense. That's one thing that Rivercrest has had that Osceola hasn't had, is the big explosive plays, the plays that go for 20 yards or more. We just saw one moments ago from our unnamed player from the Colts, and we've seen that a couple of more times tonight. Saw it back in the first half with Contavious Robinson before he exited the game. And
Mateo Chirinos went on that play-action pass to him.
Have not seen Osceola have maybe but one of those plays, explosive plays. Stiff arm by Woodson in the backfield, tripped up at the 35-yard line, and it'll be a loss as Preston Wilson got back there and makes the ankle tackle.
Nice stiff arm there by Woodson, but again, Wilson just keeping his assignment, trips him up. Landy, I think it's safe to say that we can pencil in Rivercrest as the 3A3 champions, and they will host the Barton Bears next week at the Cotton Patch.
Seminoles break their huddle very quickly, barring an epic miracle from Osceola here. 4 wide receiver set, Miners looking to throw. A lot of time in the pocket, stands tall, throws it down the field, intercepted. Intercepted at the 30-yard line by Warren Thurman. And Thurman was pounding the turf the last time they were out on defense because he missed an interception, but he gets one this time. You got to credit Miner for standing in the pocket and taking that lick as he threw that football, but he threw it right into coverage, and Thurman just reaches up and snags it.
Give the assist to number 51, Canandrius Brooks there. He's the guy that was rushing Miner and put the lick on him after he released the ball.
So a turnover for Osceola, and that's actually the first turnover of the game for either team tonight. 8:12 to play in the fourth quarter. Parker goes in motion to the left side. Handoff goes up the middle. And that one will be stopped short for about a yard gain. I think that was Jamaica Franks on the carry that time. Bruce Parker's, I don't know if he's down there stretching right now. You see number 6 sitting down at the 25-yard line. It looks like he might have just been trying to stretch out a cramp there.
We got a flag.
Flag on the play.
Got a face mask against the Seminoles, so that's going to be yardage tacked on to the end of that run.
With it being the personal foul tie, 15 yards, so that's going to be a first down.
See number 6 over there still trying to stretch things out in the huddle. He's over there, was over there doing some toe touches just a minute ago, so he might be tightening up. Not a lot of humidity in the air, but these two teams are still expending a lot of energy as we're now under 8 minutes to play here in the fourth quarter. Parker goes in motion again. The handoff is up the middle, and they'll pick up about 2 more yards on the ground, and that should bring up 2nd and about 8. Again, Jamaica Franks on the carry for the Colts. He's got 2 touchdowns to his credit tonight.
With Robinson out, they are working over the tight ends. They're just trying to pound it. You let the big offensive line push the line a little bit and have the big wheels turning on the tight ends.
And Franks is just a junior, but he does stand in at 202 pounds. This time Parker gets the pitch. Beg your pardon, number 4 gets the pitch. Cuts back to the other side of the field. He's at the 25-20. Foot race to the end zone. 5, diving to the pylon. He got it. Touchdown, Rivercrest Colts. Touchdown, freshman unnamed player.
Hey, did you see the juke he made?
Watch on your Kaiser LP Gas replay here.
Eflin here. Whoop!
He just makes him fall face mask in the turf. And then the Superman stretch as they get to the 5 right there. Diving for the end zone, he makes it in. Outstanding, and now we're gonna have a 2-point conversion on the way here. Perhaps. Pierce is back in the backfield looking to throw. Throws it to a man in the end zone, caught! 2-point conversion is good, the defender fell down. Kessler Pierce looking to the Osceola sideline to talk a little trash as he completes the pass to Preston Wilson for 2.
Number 10, Preston Wilson. It is good.
There you saw the defender who was covering Wilson just fell down, and that was too easy for Pierce. They now lead this one 32-7 with 7:04 to play in the ball game.
Kaiser LP Gas Company is a family-owned propane company serving residential, commercial, and agricultural customers in Craighead, Crittenden, Poinsett, and Mississippi counties in northeast Arkansas. Located on Highway 181 South in Kaiser, Arkansas, Kaiser LP Gas can fill all of your propane needs, whether it's for farm equipment, your home, or business. Kaiser LP Gas has you covered. Call today at 870-526-2198.
Andy Manus and West Cisco back here with you at Seminole Stadium. Osceola giving up another touchdown on the ground, this time to our unnamed player number 4, and it comes at a hefty sum of yardage, well over, we talked about explosive plays just a moment ago. That one was well over 20 yards.
Yeah. And
pretty close to 60
understand,
if I'm not
I don't
mistaken.
understand Coach Chandler going for 2 when you've got at the time a 30-7 lead. You know, you're well in control of this ball game. I'm kind of scratching my head over that one, Andy.
Things are well out of hand now with 7:04 to play. This kick will go out of bounds, and it will be a legal procedure, and Osceola will start with the ball pretty close to midfield. And they've got to move rather quickly if they want to put some points up on the board here before the end of this football game.
Seminoles will have the ball 1st and 10 at the 35-yard line.
Legal procedure will put the ball at the 35-yard line. Carl Miner will come back out and try to see if he can get this Seminole offense rolling again.
You know, the one scoring drive was off of the turnover from Miscue and the turnover from Rivercrest. Other than that, this Rivercrest defense have just stymied the Seminole offense.
Talked about here on 1st down, the run to the right side, Taylor and Gavin on the carry. Talked about some of the seniors on this team and it being senior night, and there's just not a lot of seniors on either one of these teams. I mean, you look at their roster and there's quite a few more juniors and sophomores than there are seniors. In fact, Osceola only 9 seniors on their lineup sheet. So
we've had a flag after the play here. Unsportsmanlike conduct, taunting by Rivercrest. We were talking about it a while ago. They were doing some talking, and the official said enough is enough, boys. 32-7. You know, you don't have to do this. So it's a big penalty, and that's going to put them over in Colt territory.
They're going to need a much bigger break than that to try to come back from this one tonight. But that will help, as you just said, Wes, put them into enemy territory. They come out with 2 wide receivers, 1 back in the backfield. Now they had 3 wide receivers, move 1 to the tight end position. Woodson goes in motion. He's at the 45-40, still on his feet as he breaks through the pack. Still on his feet at the 10, the 5. He's into the end zone, touchdown.
And again, that 15-yard penalty for Tawny. Come back to haunt Rivercrest.
Traylon Woodson going nearly 50 yards, make it 46 on the ground for 6 points. And you can see him right there. He breaks through the pack. He's got one man left to beat. And with a little stutter step there, gets right by Robert Banks. And that was it. Traylon Woodson, 46 yards for the score.
Trying to get off the field. He's a little winded. Isn't that his second score of the night?
Second rushing touchdown for Woodson. One from 1 yard. This one 46 times the length of that one. And now they had a player run off the field. They've got 8 seconds left on the play clock here. Trying to go for 2. Minor under center. Takes the snap. Bobbled the snap. Little reverse here. And I'm not sure what.
He was trying to do the Hunter Henry, but he had to go backwards instead of forward. So
not sure what Fowler was thinking right there. They failed the 2-point conversion. 6:25 left to play in the fourth quarter. It is 32-13 Rivercrest leading Osceola on Tubetown.
Update your style with Days Clothing in downtown Blackman. Days has all the brands you love. Casual or formal, Days has a style that will fit you perfectly. Days Clothing is also your local gym's formal wear provider. Update your wardrobe with a new style from Days Clothing today. Days Clothing, 322 West Main in historic downtown Blytheville.
Andy Maness and Wes Cisco back here with you at Seminole Stadium. 6:25 left to play here in the fourth quarter. 32-13 is your score. Rivercrest leading the Seminoles. And Wes, you've got a very important score update to pass along.
In the 4A3, the Truman Wildcats have defeated the Highland Rebels 48-13 to clinch the number 3 seed in the 4A playoffs next week. The number 3 seed from the 4A3.
Congratulations to those Truman Wildcats. Appreciate them being very hospitable to us during this football season. Onside kick from the Seminoles. Still loose. Who came up with it? It looked like a Colt touched it first at the 50-yard line. And the official here on the near side is already pointing towards the Colts. So Seminoles defense will come back out on the field, and the Rivercrest offense will have a very short field to work with here with 6.5 minutes remaining in the ball game, and you can more than likely expect them to milk this clock out.
Yep, and I want to just add this on the Truman thing here, Andy. With that win, they get to host a playoff game next week as they will host Dumas. Highland will have to go on the road to face Hamburg.
That Dumas game is going to be a tough one to pull off. Parker goes in motion on first down. They hand it off up the middle to Franks. Franks with a full head of steam. He's got first down yardage and more. He rumbles down to about the 34-yard line, make it to 33. And he picks up almost 20 yards.
And I tell you, nice stop there. I can't get the number of who it was. But that's what they're going to right now, is just going with the tight end since Robinson is out. They're just putting it in the hands of Franks, Chernos, or Riley Logan. Excuse me, Logan Riley. I'll get it right.
Parker lined up on the right side of this. There's number 4. He'll take the pitch. He's across the 30-yard line, still on his feet as he makes his way down to the 25. He'll pick up about 9 yards on first down, making 2nd and 1 as we are now inside 5:50 to play here in the fourth quarter. Clock continues to tick down, and the Seminoles are running out of time. Preston Wilson will check out of the game.
I'm surprised that Rivercrest is not waiting till lower in the play clock to snap. They're doing it about anywhere between 15 to 10 seconds before, and then they'll snap the ball.
Parker goes in motion from the right side. Again, they'll hand it off up the middle, and the tailback will take it out to the 25-yard line, and that was Chase Russell.
Number 25, Chase Russell on the carry.
On the carry that time.
Picks up enough for another Rivercrest Colt, first down. First and 10 at the
Another Colt
21
first
yard
down. They move the chains, and now they're 1 yard away from the red zone. If they time this right, they could get out of here only running about 6 more plays here. 7 seconds left on the play clock. They'll hand it off to number 4. He makes his way across the 20, but he runs into a wall of purple over here on the right side of that formation, and it'll go for a gain of about 2, maybe 3 yards.
Noah Smith for the defensive lineman, senior defensive lineman for the Seminoles, slowed him down to let the others come in, his help come in to get the tackle.
Now inside of 4 minutes and 30 seconds left in the game. 15 seconds left on the play clock as Rivercrest steps up to the line. Pierce with Russell in the backfield. Man goes in motion. He ran right into Russell as he handed it off, and Russell gets smoked as he approaches the line of scrimmage. He ran right into 2 defenders from Osceola. One of those was big Noah Smith, who was just in on that tackle moments ago.
Those 4 the purple people leaders there just for the big stop.
It's a pretty good nickname. I think they might ought to coin that. Got a little bit of work to do to be compared to those Vikings, though.
Yeah, a lot of work.
3:45 left to play in the ball game. 3rd and long coming up for the Colts. Osceola bringing pressure. They're going to hand it off around the edge to number 14, who's also unlisted on our roster. And a little shoving after that play on Kessler Pierce. Pierce kind of giving a stare down now to Colby Woodson. A little bit of shoving going on between Woodson and Pierce at the end of that play. And again, the run goes for about 2 yards.
It's going to be on 4th down.
We'll see if they want to kick it or go for it here. We know they've got the
Looks like
field
they're
goal
gonna
kicker
go
to
for it.
boot it through. But yeah, it does look like they're going to keep their offense out on the field. 10 seconds left on the play clock as they break the huddle. Now we're at the 3-minute mark left here in the 4th quarter. 4th and 8. They've got to get down to the 11-yard line. Number 4 goes in motion, takes the pitch. He's across the 15-yard line, spins down and lands on his back at the 10-yard line, and it does depend on the spot. One referee has it spotted at the 10-yard line, and if that's the case, it'll move the chains, and they do.
Good job of knowing where he needed to be because if you notice also, he went ahead and dove a little bit to get that ball across there for the 1st down.
Now under 2:40 left to play here in the 4th quarter. Pierce hands it off up the middle to Russell. Russell lost the football, and Osceola falls on top of it. Russell lost the football as soon as he was hit, and the Seminoles pick it up. Zerion Matlock there to fall on top of it. There you see it just popped out, and it looked like Matlock was the only one that knew it came out.
Yeah, just
good
I don't
awareness.
know if it looked like it was. I don't know if it was a bad handoff or if he just lost control of the ball or he wasn't paying attention or what. Break for the Seminoles with 2:26 left.
Just the 2nd turnover of the night. Now 1 for both teams. Osceola's got an interception. Rivercrest has got a fumble. Starting well inside their own 10-yard line here. Long way to go here with 2:26. Pitch out to the left. Here's Woodson. Woodson makes one man miss at the 10. Still on his feet across the 20 down to the 25 as he's dragging Preston Wilson behind him. He picks up 1st down yardage plus about 5 more.
The senior running back does not want his season to end without him trying to get to the end zone for a 3rd time tonight.
Now with 2:20 left to play here in the game. We've got a Rivercrest Colt down here on the near sideline. The trainers come rushing out to get him, and it's happened right here in front of the Osceola sideline. With 2:20 left to play here in the 4th quarter, we're going to take a break and step aside while they attend to the injured player. We'll be back with more 4th quarter action here on Tubetown right after this.
Update your style with Days Clothing in downtown Blackman. Days has all the brands you love. Casual or formal, Days has a style that will fit you perfectly. Days Clothing is also your local gym's formal wear provider. Update your wardrobe with a new style from Days Clothing today. Days Clothing, 322 Historic, downtown Blytheville.
Hit your target this hunting season with M&D Outfitters in Blytheville. M&D Outfitters is your source for boots, waders, headgear, hunting backpacks, and clothing from all the major lines. M&D also specializes in accessories for your weapon to help you shoot straight and bring home your limit. Before your big hunting trip, stop by M&D Outfitters on Main Street in Blytheville.
Until you've seen how fast it really is, some people's reaction to Ritter's 50 megabit internet might be like 50 mega, huh? Here's how we describe it. Mega beautiful, mega fast, mega blast, mega party, mega Ritter. There's no end to your online possibilities with up to 50 meg internet speeds. In a word, that means mega fun. If you're not getting your high-speed internet from Ritter, you should. Call 888-336-4466 today. Only from Ritter Communications, right by you.
Andy Matus and West Cisco welcome you back to Seminoles Stadium. Bruce Parker, you see on the sideline there, tending to that left ankle. He makes his way off the field after being injured on that last play. Hopefully he's okay. 2:13 and counting left here in the ball game. Woodson here on 1st and 10 is going to take a handoff, and he gets hit hard in the backfield after having his legs tied up by Preston Wilson. He gets hit from the side by Kendarius Brooks. Another look at the Kaiser LP Gas replay. Woodson will take the handoff, and Wilson makes the initial hit there and doesn't let go.
Like you said, does not let go. We got some scores for you here. Mark Trees leading Cross County at the last time we've heard, 14-12. And again, that one's big into 2A3 conference there. Newport is trailing Manila 26-21. And then Pocahontas has got a 35-0 lead over Westside.
4 seconds left on the play clock here on 2nd and long. 1 second left. Did they get the ball off? They did. Now Minor running for his life. Flushed out. Now he directs blockers. He's across the 30 and slung around from behind at the 35-yard line by Robert Banks. Minor was looking for somebody to throw to as he was flushed out to the far side and had nobody, so he had to make something happen with his feet. Ran right into Banks, who made an excellent tackle, but not before Minor picks up a pretty hefty gain on the ground that time, bringing up 3rd and manageable. It looks like to be 3rd and 5, but we're inside 45 seconds left in tonight's ball game.
Now, they're going to get a play, maybe 2 off, but they're already conceded that this season's over with for the Seminoles, but they put up a gallant effort against the number 1 seed from the 3A3 in the Rivercrest Colts.
Handoff goes to Taylon Gavin. Gavin gets first down yardage as he makes his way out of bounds on the far sideline over there. Clock will stop with 24.8 seconds left as they move the chains. So Rivercrest will clinch the top seed in the 3A state playoffs. They'll have a home game with the Barton Bears.
At the 38-yard line.
And right now that Manila game is big for if they end up beating Newport. That's just going to be a big upset for the 5th seed to beat the number 2 seed.
Minor looking to throw, throws it deep down the near sideline. And great defense played by the receiver that time. They were trying to pitch it out down the near sideline to one of their unnamed players on the roster, probably one of the freshmen brought up, but some excellent defense that time as Warren Thurman was in a perfect spot to make his 2nd interception of the night.
He was there ready for it, and then 85 just decided he had to play the safety and knock the ball down.
Like to remind everyone,
the win, Nettleton is now a final 48-0 win over Nettleton.
Another shutout for the Yellow Jackets, so they're going to be a force to be reckoned with in the state playoffs. 19 seconds left here 2nd and 10, and Woodson will get the carry, and he'll be stopped at the line of scrimmage. Now there's 12 seconds left in the ball game. We'll see if they call a timeout. Appears the coaches are going to start walking out onto the field with 7 seconds left, and that is going to do it. Another Mississippi County rivalry is in the books tonight. In 2016, it's 32-13, the final score. The Rivercrest Colts defeating the Osceola Seminoles on senior night, and the Rivercrest Colts, as we've mentioned throughout the broadcast, clinching the #1 seed in the 3A state playoffs, and they get to host a playoff game as well. So they are extremely excited about that. We're going to rehash that as well as some of the other games going around the area tonight, and give you a little bit of an abbreviated playoff picture when we come back, part of our post-game show after this on Tube 10.
We are more than daily transactions. We are more than checks and debit cards. We are more than farmland. For the people of Poinsett County, we are more than just a bank. At First Delta Bank, we see the world through the eyes of our customers, because we know that our customers are our most valuable investment. We are proud of who we are and want to earn your banking business. We are First Delta Bank, equal housing lender, member FDIC.
Buda Baker takes it on his 30. Watch this guy run in the open field, and nobody's going to catch him. Buda Baker, 70 yards to the house. Bellevue on top first.
Kaiser LP Gas Company is a family-owned propane company serving residential, commercial, and agricultural customers in Craighead, Crittenden, Poinsett, and Mississippi counties in northeast Arkansas. Located on Highway 181 South in Kaiser, Arkansas, Kaiser LP Gas can fill all of your propane needs, whether it's for farm equipment, your home, or business. Kaiser LP Gas has you covered. Call today at 870-526-2198.
Whether it's a night out on the town or a special occasion, visit Bistro 1121 in Blytheville. Live music on Tuesday, prime rib special on Friday. Bistro 1121 on East Main in Blytheville. Perkins Restaurant and Family Bakery in Blytheville, newly renovated and open 5:30 a.m. until 11 p.m. daily. Stop by for any meal, anytime, or take home delicious sweets from our bakery. Perkins Restaurant and Family Bakery in Blytheville.
Update your style with Days Clothing in downtown Blytheville. Days has all the brands you love. Casual or formal, Days has a style that will fit you perfectly. Days Clothing is also your local gym's formal wear provider. Update your wardrobe with a new style from Days Clothing today. Days Clothing, 322 West Main in historic downtown Blytheville.
Okay, listen up. You might have a job or you might not. But ask yourself, is this what I really want to do for a living? Maybe it's time to change your career. You know, make a better life for you and your family. ASU Newport's welding program can give you a new career that pays more than your old job. And if you qualify, you can learn to weld for free. That's right, free, not 1 red cent. So, what are you waiting for? Call now to see if you qualify for the free welding program at ASU Newport in Jonesboro.
Hit your target this hunting season with M&D Outfitters in Blytheville. M&D Outfitters is your source for boots, waders, headgear, hunting backpacks, and clothing from all the major lines. M&D also specializes in accessories for your weapon to help you shoot straight and bring home your limit. Before your big hunting trip, stop by M&D Outfitters on Main Street in Blytheville.
Welcome you back to Seminole Stadium to recap our final game of the 2016 regular high school football season. Andy Maness and Wes Cisco here with you tonight, where our final score between Rivercrest and Osceola in the Mississippi County rivalry was 32-13, the Colts defeating the Seminoles. And Wes, after the game, we had a looked to be a little bit of a kerfuffle out on the field as we had to separate the two teams and the crowds that both of the two teams brought with each other, and eventually a couple of state troopers stepped in and divided things once the coaches had gotten all their players away from each other. But you hate to have a rivalry game end with something like that, and hopefully that won't put a damper on any future games between these two teams.
Yeah, like you said, you hate when something like that happens. You understand that tensions are high. You played sports, I've played sports. We all know how it goes. But once the game's over, the game's over. There's no reason to taunt or talk on either side, on the winning or losing side. And that's just something that needs to be taken care of by the administration before basketball season starts.
Yeah, absolutely, especially because, as we've talked about before, both of these two teams only being separated by 12 miles of highway, they're going to see each other again. They're probably going to see each other tomorrow, because most of these people, I would imagine that the two towns being so close, you have a lot of people who are related to one another, a lot of people who are good friends between the two towns. And, again, you hate to see two communities kind of get into a little scuffle at the end of a community event like this. But either way, again, the final score tonight, 32-13. Rivercrest just came out and played like they wanted that number one seed in the playoffs from the get-go.
They come out first quarter and put up 10 fast points, put up 17 fast points. It was 17-0 after the first. They didn't score again in the second quarter before the halftime, and then they laid it on in the second half. But you got to give it up to Osceola also for not giving up. They come back after the miscue and the turnover by Rivercrest on the punt, put it into points, and then Woodson with the 2 touchdowns for Osceola. That's a good send-off for that senior running back.
Yeah, you're right. It is. Obviously, when you're a senior playing in your last game, especially in front of a home crowd, you want to go out on top. But if you can't get a win, you at least want to put up some pretty good numbers. And I think he'll be not as happy as he could have been tonight, but he won't be completely unsatisfied with his performance on the field. And again, only I think I counted 9 seniors on this squad for Osceola, so they've got a lot of youth on their team, and they've got a lot of growing left to do. But they always seem to find a way after one down year to come back up and be at the top of the rankings.
Yeah, and you look at as you said, there's not very many seniors, a lot of juniors, a lot of sophomores play tonight. And if they go to the weight room, they keep doing what Coach Leggett wants them to do, they're going to be right back in this conference race next year.
Well, one thing that I noticed tonight was Carl Miner. It's first time getting to see him this year. That kid has got an arm. He's a sophomore, and we saw him chunk the ball down the field more than a couple of times tonight. But again, the play calling style just really not fitting for Osceola to chunk the ball down the field. They like to keep it on the ground, and they just had a hard time against this Rivercrest defense tonight with the likes of Big Freddie Ware and a couple of those big 300-pound linemen for the Colts. So again, the Colts will clinch a top playoff seed and a first-round home playoff game against the Barton Bears, and we'll look forward to going to that one and seeing what happens, and hopefully the Colts could make their way back to the state championship game, as they were state runners-up last year. Again, the final score tonight here at Seminole Stadium, 32-13, and we appreciate all of you guys joining us tonight as well as throughout the regular season. This is going to be our final regular season game in 2016, and we're already looking forward to next year. Obviously, we'll be back in January to do some basketball games as well.
We'll be back for some basketball, so stay tuned to Two-Town and the FHS Network if you're out of the viewing area and you're watching us on the FHSnetwork.com, keep us on there also.
That's right. Keep an eye out for that basketball schedule because that'll be coming your way soon. You can always check it out at tubetownonline.com or follow us on Twitter at Tubetown. Thanks again for joining us tonight, and thanks to everybody who made tonight's game possible, all of our production crew, as well as our executive producer, Marcus Carlton, and the man behind the board tonight, Brandon Reed. For my color commentator tonight, Wes Cisco, I'm Andy Manus saying so long from Seminole Stadium, where, again, your final score was 32-13, Rivercrest over Osceola.